All right, good evening and welcome to Called Into Questions. This is the only podcast that asks difficult questions during a difficult time. My name is Chris King, and I am joined today with a podcasting dual ship here that will be here to play today's game. If y'all will introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. My name's Mike McComb. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Eurowhat podcast, a podcast about the Eurovision Song Contest.
And I'm Ben Smith. I am the other co-host of the Eurowhat.
That is right. So Mike and Ben here are co-hosts of a podcast all about the Eurovision Song Contest. They have gracefully and unbelievably asked me twice to be on their show, which is incredible as a not a in-depth fan, but certainly just a fan of Europe, the continent. So it's very fun to be invited to this podcast. And now during the era of quarantine, I thought now that I have created my own show, it would only be fun and right to invite them on and to play a game together. And I look very forward. Hopefully, I know, Ben, you are in the Boston land area. Mike, you are in Chicago land, correct?
Correct.
How is Chicago holding up in the current climate?
It's fine. It's just been really gray. Winter is just dragging on, and I think that's just making it a little extra difficult through
Apparently
already
it
difficult
snows
circumstances.
places? I don't understand. So there's like snow out there during the quarantine? Like, that is crazy talk.
It's rude. It's very rude.
I can't, I don't even understand it. I mean, it's, 75 degrees outside right now, and it has been for the last couple of weeks. And it's, hearing people dealing with snow during the quarantine is an impossible thing to even comprehend. So for those that are facing like actual climate problems along with the quarantine, good luck with y'all. So I am sorry if Boston, Chicago, it is snowing on y'all, which is weird. That's just not right in general. And so hopefully one crisis at a time, and hopefully y'all are dealing with it right now. It just makes me laugh that there's snow out there. That's not real. Our game today is we have each written a set of 15 questions for the other team. There are in 3 rounds. It is the first round is a nice medium difficulty. The second round is a hard category. And then round 3 is our crazy hard category. Ben here has come up with a better analogy than medium hard and crazy hard. And it is, I've somehow already forgotten that it's fire.
It's Taco Bell sauce packets, Chris. It's Taco Bell sauce packets. We have medium, we have hot. We are jumping over fire and going straight to Diablo.
That's right. I forget that. Yeah, I forget the order. It's been, I thought about this not too long ago. I haven't had Taco Bell in a minute. And it's mostly because I eat real Mexican food. And then 2, it turns out restaurants are just away from where I'm currently in my place. I don't know why there's not a Starbucks, for example, in the kitchen of the place where I'm living, which is very disappointing. So
and I have not had Taco Bell in a while, but that's just because the only one near me is down at the mall near MIT. So
are you not going down to MIT's campus and getting Taco Bell when you got when you need that when you quiero Taco Bell?
No.
That's disappointing. I mean, you gotta support local businesses, including the Cambridge
Taco Bell, the major corporation that also the on brands. Yes.
That's right. You have to. I mean, those brands are there for us. We have to be there for them when the time strikes. And so
when they need to live Moss. Absolutely,
we're all living Moss right now, and we will live Moss together here during the quarantine. But we have a set of 15 questions each. Each of us have chosen a specialty category that we'll be answering questions about. If y'all will tell the audience what your category is tonight.
Just what you wrote questions about for us?
Yes.
That would be just Eurovision all time.
Turns out they co-host a podcast about the Eurovision Song Contest. And I don't want to say I strong-armed them into picking it as a category, but that felt right as a possible category for them to be answering questions on, which is very fun to see if they've been just blowing hot air over the airwaves for the last little bit. So we'll just see about that. And then because Ben and I have had a very strong connection about this certain funny man, I have chosen the category of comedian John Mulaney as my set of questions, which is a very fun. I want to see what has been written. I was listening to some of the older stuff. They just getting psyched up for today's event. It's fun to be rage working out while listening to New in Town. So hopefully it's gonna be a fun time to see how the game goes. But there will be all kinds of general knowledge along the way. We'll be reading out 5 questions at a time. After all 5 have been read, you feel free to pause it right then and there, and you can think about what your answers would be to the set of questions. And we'll go back to the top and go over those exact same 5 questions. I will be keeping score throughout tonight's game. It's just to see, we're not competing against each other. Who knows how hard the questions we've written for each other are, but just to see how you would do against me or how you would do against Mike and Ben. That is how the game you play, and hopefully you are staying inside and enjoying it now. If we run long, feel free to watch it on YouTube at 1.5 speed. It's a great way to enjoy content when you are rushing through it. But no, if y'all are ready, I think we can go ahead and get this game underway. So, all right, Mike and Ben. So here are the first 5 questions in round number 1. So number 1 in this round is the chorus of what year 2000 rap song, which won the MTV Best Video Award at the VMAs, uses the signature catchphrase of the game show To Tell the Truth. Number 2, since 1959, what 2 animals are consistently the target of villainous schemes by the fiendish spies Boris Badenov and Natasha Fatale? Number 3, named for the French word for bell, what fitted bell-shaped hat was often made of felt and is the defining hat for flappers during the 1920s? Number 4 is what man's name, who died in Oklahoma in 1909, is also the official motto of the 501st Airborne Infantry Regiment, previously known as the 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment? And number 5 is, at the FIFA World Cup, Mexico has appeared in 16 tournaments and have yet to win the trophy. What country is the Eurovision equivalent, appearing in 30 Eurovision finals but not yet won? So those are the first 5 questions in round 1. So if you want to think about it a little more, you can hit pause right here. But we will start back up at the top with our questions here. So number 1 in round 1 is the chorus of what year 2000 rap song, which won the MTV Best Video Award at the VMAs, uses the signature catchphrase of the game show To Tell the Truth?
I mean, I've got this one, Mike.
I do too.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Okay, that would be The Real Slim Shady by Eminem.
The main thing of To Tell the Truth, other than a signed affidavit, is to ask the fellow person in the figure to please stand up and please stand up. And this would be The Real Slim Shady by Mr. Marshall Mathers, Eminem. That is exactly right. Very well done. I think I was trying to remember. It was I think My Name is Eminem was like a very popular answer when I asked it one time before, and it was nope, sorry, the song is The Real Slim Shady. That is definitely the song that has the To Tell the Truth. So probably, as far as I know, the most major rap song to feature a game show lyric as as a main element to it. So there you go. Of course, Jay-Z's 444 had Family Feud as one of the song tracks on it, mentioning Steve Harvey. So maybe that's actually the more current answer. When's Beyonce getting on Family Feud? Number 2 is, since 1959, what 2 types of animals are consistently the target of the villainous schemes by the fiendish spies Boris Badenov and Natasha Fatale?
I believe that would be moose and squirrel.
That is moose and squirrel is exactly right. This is the Rocky and Bullwinkle, and a more fun way of asking Rocky and Bullwinkle is asking moose and squirrel instead. Exactly the right order in which you should have given them. So
Yeah.
You could have said squirrel and moose, but yeah, moose and squirrel.
Moose and squirrel.
Moose and squirrel right there. Very well done. Number 3.
I've toyed with being Natasha for Halloween several times. So
very good. Very, very good. Number 3 is, named for the French word for bell, what fitted bell-shaped hat was often made of felt and is the defining hat for flappers during the 1920s?
I have a guess for this one. Ben, do you know this?
I know this one.
Oh, okay, go for it.
It's a cloche.
Aha, that was my guess.
Yes.
That is exactly right. Cloche is the type of hat there. Do people wear it in any capacity other than Gatsby parties? Or I don't speak French, so I don't know how obvious bell is in the everyday language. So I think it's just knowing good hat wear, and it's exactly right. But cloche is that. So, but no, it is a cloche. Very, very well done. Number 4 is what man's name who died in 1909, who died in Oklahoma in 1909, is also the official motto of the 501st Airborne Infantry Regiment, previously known as the 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment.
This is way out of my knowledge base.
I have a wild guess.
Go for it.
Geronimo?
Are you happy with that, Ben?
I'm trusting Mike on this one.
So the man that died in Oklahoma, it was Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is where this person was captured during various conflicts going on there. But exactly the 501st Parachute Infantry Regiment, their official motto was Geronimo, as you would yell out.
That makes so much sense.
Yep.
That makes so much. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, why did I also not have that as a guess?
Yep. As he would jump out of an airplane, that is what apparently you start to say. Apparently, there's unclear origin story of why Geronimo is the name of the guy. I mean, the name of the why you would say that. I think because it was bravery. It's all very unclear. If it just sounds good. But yeah, because you wouldn't say George Washington. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Geronimo has more of the cadence of being something you would yell out. But yeah, Geronimo's exactly right. And
Woo!
Very well reasoned. Number 5 is your actual Eurovision question. Is at the FIFA World Cup, Mexico has appeared in 16 tournaments and have yet to win the trophy. What country is the Eurovision equivalent, appearing in 30 Eurovision finals but not yet won?
Okay, so Mike, you know that my pet favorite at Eurovision, Iceland, definitely up there. It's since the 80s. I think that there have been a few years where they have the final because there's that big period.
Right.
15. So I think it would be roughly 30-ish. They are one of them.
Yeah, the other one that jumped to mind was Romania.
Okay.
Because they had not missed a final until 2018.
But were they a country in the 80s?
That's where I'm struggling because I'm not entirely sure when they started.
Yeah, because I think they are a more recent addition.
Right. But I think they were one of the first of the Eastern European countries. But yeah, I think it's a toss-up between Iceland and Romania. See, Iceland, they started in what, 80, 81?
I want to say it was closer to the mid-80s. They would air it.
Right, that's right.
But they didn't actually participate. I want to say 1986 is the first year they participated.
Okay, so that would mean...
Which would give us
4 years, but
did not actually get, or to relegation in the semis, or just...
Yeah, because they missed 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that's 4.
That's 4. That would be 30.
Yeah, let's go with Iceland.
Let's go with Iceland.
Yeah.
Your guess is Iceland here. So I will say that you are correct. That 1986 is the correct year they joined. They have had 32 appearances in Eurovision, but 25 final appearances. They are second in this statistic. It is not the country of Iceland.
Okay.
Should we go with Romania then? or wait. Let's see.
Who else is always there but hasn't won?
Cyprus has been there since the early 80s, but I feel like their record was a little bit dodgier.
Okay. I think they're one of the ones that, like, of the list of that have been in a bunch but haven't won, they're up.
Oh, and Malta could be in the mix as well. But they've also had kind of a dodgy record. I don't know. Do you want to go with Romania or?
I actually like Cyprus as a guess because like they're one of the other ones that in like my mental list of countries that haven't won. Like I like that as a guess, and I feel like we've well enough to get there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with Cyprus.
Going with Cyprus. So I can tell you that the first year for Cyprus is 1981. They have been in the Eurovision contest 36 times and have appeared in the final 30 times. The country is Cyprus.
All right.
Nicely done.
Very well done. The other stats here, Malta's been 25 times. Bosnia-Herzegovina has been 18. Croatia has been 18. And Romania also at 18 finals. So
wow, okay.
Those are the countries, Romania and higher, they have not won but have appeared in the finals. But Cyprus is exactly right. So right now, you swept through the first four and got a full half credit on the final one there. So you have a 4.5 points after round one. So I'm excited to see. I thought that was going to be a layup of a stat question of just the always a bridesmaid, never a bride at the Eurovision to see we talked about that before. So boom, I am ready to see how the next two play out. That is very exciting. But obviously extreme knowledge represented, and it's fun already to know that there is you don't have it all memorized. You don't have
I mean, to be fair, every year there's going to be like 24 bridesmaids, so it's a lot to keep track of.
I am blinded in my devotion for Iceland and their pop rap.
What if the Olympics were just one event and every country competed in it for the exact one, as opposed to you get to walk away with a prize of your own and a different thing, as opposed to, every country coming together and competing at the exact one event. So that's Eurovision is that. Yeah, sorry. For Cyprus is the only one that just apparently seems to keep trying a lot, but odds are probably win at some point. Just how it all shakes out. That feels right. Why wouldn't they win someday?
Yeah, they came close in 2018.
Right, exactly. They've got good chances. Just it's never their year, and hopefully it's like the Cubs one day. Just how it all boils out. But 4.5, so a very, very good start for y'all. Well done on that. And so right now we will start the second half, and I will hear the first 5 questions of this round. I will see how I get to do on y'all's slate of questions. So here we go.
Did you want to take this, Ben, or do you want me to?
You can take this one. I'll take hot.
Okay, cool. All right. Question 1. Bedposts, sour apple, Greek church, and the Big Four are nicknames for particularly challenging configurations in what sport? Number 2. The title of what literary doorstop comes from Act 5, Scene 1 of William Shakespeare's Hamlet? Number 3. Kauponophobia is the fear of what?
Can you spell all that?
Yeah, Kauponophobia.
All right.
Right. Number 4. Don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now are particularly quarantine-apt recommendations from what New Rules singer, whose Don't Start Now is currently number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Number 5, Burt Bacharach wrote the theme song for what 1965 movie, which was sung by Tom Jones and features prominently in John Mulaney's story about the Salt and Pepper Diner?
All right, so those are the first 5 questions of round 1. So if you want to think about it, pause here, and you can play whenever you're ready. But we will start back up at the top right now with question number 1.
All right. Bedposts, sour apple, Greek church, and the Big Four are nicknames for particularly challenging configurations in what sport?
Bedpost, Sir Apple,
Sour apple.
Sour Apple, excuse me. Big Church. and-
Greek church.
Greek Church, excuse me. Thank you. Greek Church. My handwriting's not good. And Big Four is for. And what was the rest of that sentence? So I can make sure I get it right.
Those are all nicknames for particularly challenging configurations in what sport?
All right. So I'm trying to these are going to be like you say configuration, which is exactly what they are. It would be how a certain thing is laid out on a surface. That is what a configuration is. That is what.
Yes.
And I can imagine bedposts. I imagine is some kind of vertical lines thing. Big Four is some kind of. I guess there's four of them, whatever they are. Sour apple, I can't really picture it. Greek church could eat something with a cross type. And I'm trying to think of what could be configured. I don't really have any stellar answers for this. The thing I'm currently liking it's kind of like, I know this sport has lots of configurations. There's tons of ways the main target can be arranged in the set that they are usually set in, and I haven't figured out a better answer. So I'm going to guess bowling as my guess for question number 1.
Okay, so bedposts. You want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so bedposts. Yep, 2 vertical lines. That would be the 7-10. Sour apple would be the 7-10 and the 5-pin in the middle.
Okay.
Greek church is 3 on one side, 2 on the other, kind of like all the Greek spires. And the Big Four is also known as the Richard Nixon, the 2 on the on each side.
Very nice.
So yes, bowling is correct.
Yeah, I knew there's a ton of bowling. I did not know that I thought 7-10 was the traditional slang for the 7-10 as opposed to a new name added to it. I didn't know that was but no, that is very exciting. And yeah, I'm sure they all have names. The way like every pair of playing cards has like in Texas Hold'em, they all have a different name for every combination of cards, and that is exciting that bowling is there. I think I knew that a Christmas tree is I remember asking about that one time at a bar trivia. It's 4 of them, and it's basically like,
yeah,
something along those lines like that. And it's I just put my hands in the air to see if anybody can read whatever shape that is. And but bowling. So there we go. That's exciting.
Excellent. All right. So number 2, the title of what literary doorstop comes from Act 5, Scene 1 of William Shakespeare's Hamlet?
Okay. That one just came to me only because I couldn't parse the phrase literary doorstop. I was thinking, what does that even mean? Like that was just 2 words put together, and I now realize that a doorstop would just be a heavy object used to prop open a door. And I do know that Act 5, Scene 1 of Hamlet is the gravedigger scene where we were alas poor Yorick, and Hamlet knew him Horatio. And now it finally dawns on me that literary doorstop refers to the next line of that he was a man filled with infinite jest. And so this will be David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest is the book here.
That is correct. I gave you the clues you needed.
Yes, and but I just didn't know what a literary doorstop was. I was like, is it the skull of Yorick? Like, I was trying to think of like an actual object in literature, and I was like, well, the main object of that scene is the skull of Yorick, and that finally dawned on me what a doorstop might be. And so yeah.
Well, yeah, and the Harvard Bookstore is owned by Barnes & Noble, and one of the tables they constantly have amongst the fiction section is literary doorstops, and Infinite Jest is always center of the table.
Nice. Have either of y'all read the book in question?
Yes.
I have not.
That is
and then in the before times, was working my way through a new one that is popping up, Lucy Ellman's Duck's Newburyport, which is about as thick as Infinite Jest, but has the additional layer of being stream of consciousness.
Fun. There you go. That's the way to do it. I think I saw That was some funny jab at Infinite Jest saying that during this time you can buy Infinite Jest online on Amazon, for example, but saying that means you lose the being the high road of actually going to a bookstore and buying it in front of other people to impress the people in the bookstore. So it's buying it online. It would just be the receiving of knowledge directly, as opposed to the showing off to the hoi polloi that you have bought Infinite Jest, which was a shot at Infinite Jest. I have not read the book. That is, and I know people have read it and have certainly enjoyed it. It is a hefty one from what I have looked at and touched before. That is so well done, Ben, on reading it, and I will take my my knowledge on that on Infinite Jest. Being Hamlet, that was the end there. Didn't have to have any book knowledge of Infinite Jest to get it. So there we go.
All right. Number 3, compoundophobia is the fear of what?
So and it's KOUMPOUNOPHOBIA. Just want to make sure
Yes.
that's right. Yeah. So this question is not filled with a bunch of clues except for the obvious word in question of compoundophobia, and I've been trying to figure out what this could be. Compoundo doesn't really ring in it's that prefix. I've been trying to. It doesn't really look very broken down by letter. Compoundophobia. I haven't. I'm still. So my only. It's not even good. This could be very very faulty logic. Is that compoundophobia? It looks like the German word for compound in the sense that it's just the word compound with a K, and that is the only real. That was a very good. So that very well might not be the case here. And I'm going to on a lark, just with nothing. I'm going to guess ammonia because that is a German chemical compound. That would be scientific, and it could very well be it. That's the only lead I currently have, and it's probably weak as anything else. But I will say ammonia is the guess here, which is terrible.
It is not ammonia.
As I figured, I'd rather give a guess than I'll take a hint if you have any hints on the path here.
Sure. So it was reported in looking up the origins of this word that Steve Jobs apparently had this phobia.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Is it? I think he was definitely one of these. Is it fear of doctors? Is it fear of the medical profession, fear of doctors? I know that was a huge deal of his. That's certainly a thing that would still possibly be it. I'll guess follow up on a doctor as a possible second guess.
It is not doctor.
So the fear of the color white is why I wore black turtlenecks.
It is sartorially related.
Okay. Is it? What could this be? It's the fear of your shins. It's the fear of seeing your ankles. Man, what is he? He didn't wear hats. Not that I think Steve Jobs looked good in a hat, but he didn't wear see. I mean, he's only known for wearing the things he wore. I'm trying to think what he'd be afraid of. It's not the fear of shorts. What a terrible phobia to have is my knees. I can't see. I can see my knees now. Hey, gloves or what could this be? I mean, I can just name articles of clothing that aren't his sweater, his jeans. Is it something weird like the fear of hats? That seems silly. I'll say hats.
I would say that is closer to the ballpark, and that it is a very specific part of clothing.
Right. Okay. So it's a single article of clothing. What are fear of socks? Fear of underwear? Fear of I don't know. I'm not sure when I'd land on it.
The turtlenecks are probably a manifestation of this because.
Is it a tie? Is it a fear of ties?
It is not.
I said that confidently and thinking that could be it. Is the fear of ties? I'm not sure I'm going to have this. I might.
So I have a hint for this, but I worry that it might be a gimme.
I'll take it though.
Okay,
I'll take a gimme hint. Yeah.
Steve Jobs is an actual person who reportedly had this fear. In literature, a character that might also have this fear is Coraline.
I've heard that name. Where have I heard that name before?
It was also a film.
Yeah, that feels familiar too, but I don't know. I don't really know anything about this work to know. I actually might have to just take the answer at this point. I don't know who Coraline is, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Ben, should we put a button on this one?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, it's Buttons.
Buttons. Oh man. So does where did he have a fear of buttons, Mr. Steve Jobs? That is is that known why he just did? Yeah.
Yeah, it's reading up on this particular phobia that I will butcher the name of once again, compoundophobia. Nobody's really certain where the origin of it is, but it's more common than you would think. It's not necessarily a common phobia, but he's not the only person to have reported it.
No, sure. I can imagine buttons, how their like utilization and everything. Because I mean, I think what's the name of the name of the phobia that's like the small holes?
Right. I think it is related to that one.
Yeah, I can imagine that being kind of connected, the fear of things like that. I mean, that's all. And the one with the holes is a completely legitimate. You see the weird pictures online, you're like, yeah, I definitely see it. And so Compounda, or however it is.
Yes.
And Coraline is a book and movie by who?
Neil Gaiman, I believe, wrote the original story.
And Coraline, she does not like buttons.
So Coraline is the main character. She goes into an alternate world where she's got her mother in one world. She has the other mother in the other world, and who has like buttons over her eyes.
That's
do a lot of things.
Got you. That'd be scary. That's all very fair. But compoundophobia is the fear of buttons. That is that's good. That's solid. Phobias, there's a lot of them out there. Gotta watch out.
All right. So number 4, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now are particularly quarantine-apt recommendations from What New Rules singer, whose Don't Start Now is currently number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I think I did know there was a current song, but I believe New Rules is by Dua Lipa.
That's correct.
Yes, that's great. That's good.
I had to fact check that question this morning to make sure it was still number 3.
Yep. Yes. So things like that quickly change. You have to make sure that they stay up to date. But Dua Lipa, who is Armenian, something like that. Albanian. There you go. Somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Along with other current pop starlets Rita Ora and Bibi Rexha.
Yeah, I knew she was. I know Bibi Rexha was. I forgot. Rita Ora is like British to me, so that's where she gets her paychecks is the United Kingdom. But no, Dua Lipa. There we go. Current music, guys.
Current music, yes.
I'm hip.
All right, and the last one for this round. Burt Bacharach wrote the theme song for what 1965 movie, which was sung by Tom Jones and features prominently in John Mulaney's story about the Salt and Pepper Diner. Yeah,
so I know the name of the song that is in question, but I don't know if that's the name of the movie or not. I don't think so. Burt Bacharach, he's a guy. He's famous. He wrote a bunch of songs. Yeah, he USC gave him an honorary degree about 3 years ago or so.
Huh.
Yeah, don't know why. They just did. And it was the year my brother graduated his undergrad. There were 3 degrees we gave out. One was some business leader that spoke at my brother's graduation, and then Burt Bacharach spoke at a different one, and then Dale Chihuly also spoke. But the University of South Carolina Law School got a Dale Chihuly in exchange for it, which was all pretty good. So we got a direct a thing from Dale Chihuly for letting him speak, which was nice. But I don't think Burt Bacharach wrote a song for the university. Tom Jones, he's also a guy that the British people love. I'm trying to think the 60s. I don't want to say the name of the song. I just don't think that's right. That'd be too easy. What are the movies of the 60s? It's got to be something poppy. It's got to be something like light, because the song's light, of course. What's the Pussycat? It's a clearly light song. I think Tom Jones sings. Doesn't he sing "Windmills of Your Mind" in Thomas Crown Affair? That seems right. I don't know. That's I'm not sure I have any strong answers. Maybe it's a Pink Panther movie. That would be maybe a song. Maybe that's it. I don't have any better answer currently. I'm going to guess the Pink Panther. That is just a song. That is a song. It's a movie with songs that is light, that Tom Jones could have written for, or Tom Jones could have sang for. But it has a more famous song in it. But I'm still going to go. It fits with the cat theme, which I like. So I'm going to go with the bad guess of the Pink Panther.
Okay, it is not the Pink Panther.
Let's say that is a bad guess.
I know, exactly.
You wrote that theme.
Who did? Henry
Mancini.
See, that's all fair and true, Ben, but that isn't going to stop me from taking a shot in the dark. It's not the name of the song, correct? It is something, one more layer, correct? It is not the song. The movie is not What's New Pussycat, is it? Correct?
Is that your guess? I'm
going to say it for right now and pass in a moment, but yeah, I'm going to say that's my guess. But it's not
that's
right.
It.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So there's that's from a movie of the same name.
Mm-hmm.
What is the movie about for those that have seen it or read its Wikipedia synopsis?
Give me a second to get the Wikipedia synopsis.
Sure. I assume it's about a man and a woman, probably.
Yeah, I think one's a psychologist or a psychoanalyst or something, and
sure.
it was Woody Allen's first writing gig, or like Woody Allen's involved somehow.
Got you.
Oh boy.
Yes, he's still in good standings.
Notorious womanizer Michael James, played by Peter O'Toole, wants to be faithful to his fiancée, but every woman he meets seems to fall in love with him, including neurotic exotic dancer Liz Byen, who's played by Paula Prentice, and parachutist Rita, who's played by Ursula Andress, who accidentally lands in his car. This is a very 60s film.
Yes. Also, comedic Peter in the title role. So, boom.
Speaking of comedic Peters in roles, his psychoanalyst is played by Peter Sellers.
Boom.
That's it.
There it is. Vindication. I am excited. And that is all good to know. I knew the song What's New Pussycat, and I'm like looking at it as like, is that the title of the movie? And I'm like, is that the title of a movie? And I was like, no. And I went.
Whereas when I was working on this question with Mike, I was like, okay, Chris is going to focus on the Salt and Pepper Diner. He's going to have it down to 2 songs.
Oh, I know.
And both of those sound like they could be like goofy 60s movie titles.
Yeah. It's just like, I just didn't know that What's New Pussycat was a movie. I just didn't know that. That's just, and it feels like, that seems too straightforward, but there you go. That is Occam's razor often is the correct answer in trivia.
Yep. And like one thing that I did in doing the math of if John Mulaney's story is completely factually accurate that he and his friend played 11 What's New Pussycats and 1 It's Not Unusual to Break Things Up, they had control of that jukebox for just under half an hour of Tom Jones Induced Chaos.
There you go. That's how you do it. It's a fun time, I'm sure, that fateful day. He said before, and like, he doesn't really make up stories. Like, they're all like, everything is always true. Like, he hasn't really like made up a lie for the sake of making it up, which is but no. Apparently the diner is closed. I don't know if y'all knew that, but apparently, you're the Chicago man, that apparently the Salt and Pepper Diner is no longer an establishment, if that is something I've read. I don't know.
That makes sense. They had to unplug the jukebox.
I don't know what restaurants like ring to the core of citizens of the city that they're in, Like, some restaurants are so famous, like the whole town feels bad when they finally, get shut down. So I didn't know if that,
I don't know. I'm still figuring out the grid system.
Gotcha. So. You're a recent Chicago implant. That's fair. But no, that is
Yeah.
but that's good.
Very sad. They probably had to take down the commemorative plaque that this is the diner where.
That's right. They were like, yeah, we get it. But that was, but there you go. But so I will take half credit on my second guess there. And I had 3 right. So I now have 3.5 after round 1. So there we go. We're all doing very well as we ramp up into round number 2. So here we go into the hot category. Good luck, y'all. Number 1 in round 2. Number 1 is formed in 1934. The La Quebrada Cliff Divers are a performing group centered in what city found on the southern Pacific shores of Mexico? Number 2, Southern Living magazine published the first recipe of what cake named for an animal, which includes cinnamon, cream cheese frosting, a ripe banana, and pineapple. Number 3, what event was witnessed by 60,000 people at 4:30 a.m. on October 30th, 1974? Number 4 is If You Knew My Story is a song from what 2016 musical with lyrics by Eddie Brickell and book by Steve Martin that was nominated for 5 Tonys and winning none due to the unstoppable juggernaut Hamilton? And number 5 is, yes, the winning song of the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest was probably the most famous in contest history, but there were other songs during that contest. So I want you to name the political movement that was launched in Portugal after the performance of their entry E Depois de la Vie. And at the same time, Italy refused to broadcast the contest as Italy's entry's song C was supposedly used to subliminally message the influence of people about a referendum in the country regarding what subject? So there's a 2-part question there. Y'all seem excited. You might have both. Those are the questions in round number 2. If you think I might take a pause right here, and we'll go back to the top. So number 1 in round 2 is formed in 1934. The La Quebrada Cliff Divers are a performing group centered in what city found on the southern Pacific shores of Mexico?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what little Mexican geography I know, Mike.
Yeah, like as you might have guessed from like being a podcaster, I did not go on spring break
That's
in college. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, but like I was on the Joco cruise a few years ago and we went to Mexico, and I'm trying to remember what city we went to because that was a boat full of nerds and we still went out and did things.
Were you on the Pacific side of Mexico?
We were on the Pacific side. We were in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay, so there's 2 sides of Mexico, and
there are 2 sides of Mexico, and I think I'm on the correct one in my brain.
That's the important thing, is being on the right side. And
yeah, but like I also do not have a brain for geography, so I'm remembering that we went to Loreto, but Loreto is like all the way kind of up into the other side of that. Cabo San Lucas is a city in Mexico.
Yeah, and I think that's on the southern tip of
Baja California.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where my brain is at.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of was Puerto Vallarta, but I don't know where that is in the country. Okay. I assume it's near water because of photos. And the word Puerto. So presumably there's a port there. I'm fine with going with Cabo San Lucas.
Okay, yeah, let's go with Cabo San Lucas.
So, for your guesses here, I will say you have both identified the name of a city on the Pacific side of Mexico. So that is both right. You are correct about Cabo San Lucas. It is not that. It is on the tip of the Baja California Peninsula. Your guess of Puerto Vallarta, right? That's how you say it. Also in the Pacific, but it is not that city either. Okay. This city is more south than Puerto Vallarta.
But I gave one city I know that's on the Pacific
side.
You
are correct. You definitely name a city
which
on the right
in its
side.
own way is a victory, personally.
That's true, because there is I think a lot of the spring break destinations are all more on the Yucatan side. The Cozumel and that neck of the woods, they're more the Atlantic side or the Caribbean side as opposed to
Yeah.
the Pacific side. But there's another city. There's not a lot of hints here. It's kind of knowing about the cliff divers, which are a cultural touchstone for the city.
Yeah. What was the name of the troupe?
The La Cabrada Cliff Divers.
Yeah, I've got nothing, Mike.
Can you spot you a first letter?
Sure.
It is A.
Acapulco.
That is what it is.
Oh, doggone it. All right.
There you go. Acapulco is the Mexican city here. They're known, the city's known for the cliff divers. All of the parent generation would know it because they were apparently very frequent on the Wild World of Sports, like that segment. Apparently, they were known for that. That's where they really got their fame. And here's a map of Mexico, Cabo San Lucas, Puerto Vallarta, and then right there on the southern tip down there is Acapulco. But that is the city in question there, like basically the 6 o'clock of Mexico before you get anywhere else, Acapulco. But still, very good Pacific Ocean knowledge for Mexico there. That is.
We all picked cities that were on the correct side of Mexico.
Yeah.
You're right. That was A. You had named Mexican cities and then B on the right side of it. Did the cruise stop near Acapulco or?
No, we did. We did Cabo, and then we went up to Loreto, and then we went to some other third city that was less tourist heavy.
Got you.
And then went all the way back up to California.
There you go. But good knowledge displayed all the way around. Number 2 is Southern Living magazine published the first recipe of what cake named for an animal, which includes cinnamon, cream cheese frosting, a ripe banana, and pineapple.
Okay, so Mike, I think I had this one. I like the first few ingredients weren't quite giving me anything, but the crushed pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's a hummingbird cake.
Okay. I don't like, the only thing that jumped to my mind was turtle, and that does not sound very particularly with the pineapple. So yeah, let's go with that.
Ben obviously bakes. He certainly would be fond of cakes here. I wasn't sure how you would do on deep Southern cuisine, but the hummingbird cake is the dish in question here. So
yes,
that's exactly right. And doesn't exactly lend itself to being. It's not an obvious name for it either. The hummingbird cake. It's a banana and pineapple doesn't make you think hummingbirds, of course, naturally. So exactly right. That is the.
Well, I may be making up the etymological origins of why it's a hummingbird cake, and that the cake is so sweet, it is so full of that it would attract hummingbirds.
That's right. If you leave a cake out in the sun for a hummingbird to get, it would go for it.
Yeah.
You fill it with like red juice. That way, that's what the hummingbirds really like. Is the red.
Yeah. Yes.
It's their main target. Very well done. Hummingbird cake, exactly right. Number 3 is what event was witnessed by 60,000 people at 4:30 a.m. on October 30th, 1974.
4:30 a.m.
Like that's making me think that it might be like a Halley's Comet sort of a deal, where it's a very rare.
Yeah. It's not going to be Halley's Comet because that was 86.
Okay, that's.
What it was October 30th, 1974.
That's right.
And 60,000 people
witnessed it in the sense that they were there at the event.
Okay.
More people saw it, but in terms of witnessed it, 60,000 people witnessed it. If that makes sense about what I'm trying to.
Yeah. Because like you can't count the number of people who saw a comet, but if like the comet was in like a convention center, then
which another thing that was making me think of, although the 4:30 a.m. is throwing me off, is like that was around the time of the Moonies when they were doing like the big mass weddings. That could be a wedding of 30,000 couples.
Huh.
Like roughly like 60s, 70s.
October 30th, 1974.
And I guess just confirm the time for me one more time.
At 4:30 a.m.
Okay, 4:30 a.m. Yeah, that does feel very weird for them to all be up at 4:30 in like the Javits Center. On the other hand, it's the Unification Church, and that's based in Korea, so that's like daytime there.
Yeah, 4:30 a.m. Like, is there a time zone provided, or is it 4:30 a.m. local time to the event?
It is 4:30 a.m. local to the where the event took place. It is 4:30 a.m. at that location.
Okay.
But time zones will be important to the larger question.
Right. It's too late for the Saturday Night Massacre. It's after Ford took office.
Mm.
60,000 people. Like it's making me.
Yeah, it's oddly specific.
Yeah. It's not going to be Olympics because it's the wrong year.
Mm-hmm. Like October 30th, 1974.
Yeah.
I'm excited y'all working this one out. This is great.
Maybe getting back to the wedding part of it, like it could be like if we're fourth. We know it's 4:30 local to the event, so that's that's not it. Yeah, I kind of want to go with the Mooney wedding because
Yeah, same. I kind of want to go with that. Is that was it like one of the last like mass weddings for the Unification Church?
That's what you're going to guess is a Mooney wedding. It is not. It is not any weddings with the Moonies. I will say this is not a religious event.
Okay.
Okay.
I will give you a hint here on the event here. So I will say that it is about 4:30 a.m. their time, so that it could be about 10 o'clock p.m. in New York.
Okay. So that would be 6 hours ahead. So that's Central Europe.
Okay.
Or anything in that corridor. So like not just Europe, but Africa. Was there a peace treaty that could have no 60,000 people for that? Like I'm thinking like a peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. I feel like the timing of that, like that's just not lining up right. 60,000 people.
But yeah, that is like that Central European time.
Right.
You want another hint?
I would like another hint.
Sure.
You're right. It's about Central Europe time, but it will not be the continent of Europe.
Okay.
That definitely points to Africa then.
Yeah. What was going on in 1974? Wasn't religious. So was it political in nature, like a coronation or a transfer of power?
It is not political in nature. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a sporting?
It does
Event.
involve sports.
Okay.
It's like sports and world history, just the deadest of dead zones in my brain.
Man, this is
It's not in Europe. It's 4:30 local time. 60,000 people.
Is it possible it could be like World Cup related, given that it's a sport thing?
it is not to do with the World Cup.
Yeah, like October seemed late for that, but
Yeah, I've got nothing.
is it like a world record or first person to do a thing? Like
It is not that. That's not a bad guess, but it is not. It has nothing to do with like being the first or anything.
Okay.
You mean to just start explaining what's going on a little bit? So if y'all,
Sure.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you were right. It is it's 4:30 a.m. because this event took place at that time locally, and basically the East Coast saw it around 10 o'clock, 10:30 or so, watching this event live, and 60,000 people were in attendance of this event as it took place live, and it occurred in the city of Kinshasa, Zaire, now Kinshasa, DRC.
Oh, the Rumble in the Jungle?
That is what the event is. Yep. This the Rumble in the Jungle, which was Foreman Ali, Muhammad
What
Ali. would
other
win.
sports, Ben? Boxing.
Exactly. It's something you could schedule for a time, like a 4:30, and like basically because it was like because tape delay was so terrible. In order to watch the event in prime time America, they had to film it live 4:30 a.m. in Zaire, and it was exactly right. That's when Foreman Ali fought each other, and 6,000 people saw it. I don't know. It was 6,000 Americans, 6,000 Europe, 6,000 Africans, but they were there in the event. But it was exactly it there. And apparently it was a very big deal because in the week leading up to it, there was a lot of African unity movements. Like Dizzy Gillespie played a concert. Like it was like a major jazz performance there in the city of Kinshasa in the week leading up to the Rumble in the Jungle. But yeah, exactly right. So a fun fact is that if you watched it live, you woke up or stayed up late in order to watch it because it was at 4:30 in the morning. That is something I feel like they don't talk about in the boxing history, is that it was in the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
That never comes up when it's just like, oh yeah, it's 4:30 in the morning.
You would think like how like all Rocky movies are all like in the evening, like it's all just like standard like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But yeah, I don't know if they train themselves to like sleep later or wake up early so they could get ready for a 4:30 boxing match. But that seems unfair if you ask me to fight at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's just me.
I don't know. Depending on how cranky you get with jet lag, that could be.
I like to think they didn't show up within like 18 hours and were like, got to be training. Hopefully they were there to acclimate over the course of a week.
Yeah.
That would not be fun. But exactly right. Rumble in the Jungle, very well done. Number 4 was If You Knew My Story, is a song from 2016 musical with lyrics by Eddie Brickell and a book by Steve Martin that was nominated for 5 Tonys, winning none due to the unstoppable juggernaut Hamilton.
I know.
Let's see. I remember seeing something from this get performed during the Tonys. I remember that Edie Brickell and Steve Martin are involved.
What was it? Shop Girl adapted, or is that a separate Steve Martin?
That's a separate Steve Martin project.
Okay.
This is I'm like I can like half picture it where there's like a cabin or a shack or something. It's like very southern. my brain is like mashing it up with like a separate musical about the life of Amy Semple McPherson. I don't know why. My brain is also just horking up the phrase Stars Hollow, which I'm pretty sure is the city from Gilmore Girls.
It is, yeah.
There might be something about stars or star-esque in the title. I don't know. I don't know. I could be going down a weird rabbit hole that is not the answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to come to me.
Yeah, like
I will let you know that the word star is one of the 2 words in the title of this musical.
Okay.
So I'm in like the right area of my brain. That's good.
So you found one of the right words, which is very good. That is, important to the overall.
It's something star. I think. It might just be something like Evening Star, or at least something adjacent to that, because that doesn't feel right to me.
It is not Evening Star. Star is the second word, and I would say the first word is a word you would use for a star. Like, this isn't some random word. This word often comes before the word star. You would use this word to describe a star.
Okay.
Let's see.
Shining,
rising, fading.
No.
Give me a first letter.
Yeah.
It is B.
B?
B.
Okay. Bright Star.
That is it.
Yeah.
Bright Star. Exactly it. This was I want to have a good musical question in here, and I think this is a thing that, who knows, maybe in a different year it may have had a different shot. I've always kind of joked about that. Other musicals worked hard. Like, they had people had to like write a full musical, put it on Broadway, and they had to spend like money getting it together. Actors and actresses like learned their lines and sang their parts, and it was it's all amazing when anything ever gets made. But yeah, it didn't matter, because turns out another guy in town did it very well at the same time, and you had to be in that award season. So maybe the year before, the year after, you'd have just like put your money on pause. You could have spent your money next year after Hamilton, but unfortunately Hamilton swept everything. And so, a Steve Martin musical goes under the radar completely, because it's like, yeah, turns out you got to write a different year than Lin-Manuel. That's your fault. You should have been doing espionage to figure out how everything else in town's going. That was Bright Star, exactly it. Perfectly fine from what I can tell, but it is I hate to say the Ashburn of history, because it turns out Leslie Odom Jr. won everything else instead. But no,
well, 25 years from now, it could be revival. It could go through revival.
You never know. Things that might have been in the shadow might come out. It was just, it's tough to like, everyone was there. I remember watching the Tonys live and thinking, like, everyone's there just like, how do we not talk about Hamilton for the entire time? Because like we have to, like we have to spend a moment talking about other things. Like, we have to pretend that there are other things that have chances to win and are also good, But no, Bright Star, very well done. But we end with our Eurovision question about the 1974 Eurovision Song Contest. So talking about the non-Swedish entry. So the looking for the Portuguese, as you are proudly supporting the Iberian flag behind you, looking for the movement that was started by the performers of the song "Et de Pois du I Do," however the Romance language pronunciation of that is, as well as Italy refused to broadcast the contest as Italy's entry song "C," was supposedly used as a subliminal message to influence the people about a referendum in the country regarding what subjects. This is 2 parts. You can explain it as you go.
All right. So the first part, it's related to the April 25th Revolution, also known as the Carnation Revolution. And yeah, the song was used as a sort of trigger for instigating this sort of bloodless coup against the regime that was in power. A DJ played the entry, which I believe finished in last place that year, as is common for Portugal, unfortunately. But yeah, it was just used as a signal to, all right, let's make a move. And yeah, history changed on that day for the better, I think. So did I end up answering the question?
No, all that, yeah, you explained that very, very well. The Carnation Revolution, exactly right. Yeah, it was. It's funny that, I mean, there's also a second part, but yeah, it was like, turns out there were many things at hand apparently at the '74 contest that weren't.
Oh yeah,
weren't
Yes.
ABBA. Like it was a what do they call, like a fuse, not a powder keg of world events. Apparently, was that, you know, ABBA is starting their career, but also Portugal is about to go through a actual government revolution, which is, you know, to each their own, if that's what you need to do.
We have discussed, hey, should we do an episode about all the stuff that happened in 1974?
That is right. I did not see y'all had an episode directly about it, so I was like, maybe they probably know it anyway, but yeah,
it's of particular interest to me, to the point where it's just
which
like,
is why I was very happy when you started reading this question. Like, Mike knows this stuff.
Yeah.
And I do not.
So while you support Portugal, do you know about the Italy side of it? Is about what was the referendum in the country regarding?
The referendum was regarding divorce.
And that's like, right. Apparently there was not divorce in the kingdom/country of Italy until 1970, I think 73, 74 was when the referendum was. And apparently they thought that the song was about, hey, divorce is cool, which is a weird stance for a song to take. And but no, they did not broadcast in the country, and divorce it passed. And but yeah, and that's why Italy did not show. But Carnation Revolution and divorce are both right. Very well done. Full marks on that. Woo. So there you go. I figured that was going to be. I was like, yeah, they're probably gonna know that. That's a thing to know. And,
Yeah.
And you certainly knew it. So there you go. So I think that I'm gonna give 3 points on all that. You had 2 in the full, then 2 halves there. Oh, sorry, 1.
Yeah,
two
that
in
feels
full,
fair.
That sounds about right.
2 in full, 2 in half. So 3 points altogether. Very well done. And
Okay.
extremely correct knowledge on everything the Eurovision there in 1974.
Yeah.
I will say that the final question will leave 1974, so you will not have to answer any more 74 questions. So,
but I know that stuff.
I know so much about it. Okay.
I have more things about the things I definitely know everything about. That's what you need to be looking for. Yep. But no, very well done. Extreme good knowledge on all that.
Okay. Ready for our next set of questions?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Okay. Number 1. In 2019, bugling, stamp collecting, and surveying were the 3 least popular activities in terms of recipients in what area of distinction? Number 2. 12 companies comprised the Dow Jones Industrial Average when it was created in 1896. The last of these original companies exited the DJIA group, now with 30 companies, and was replaced with Walgreens Boots Alliance in 2018. What company was replaced? Number 3. On a wall surface, any continuous stretch of wall, using a hard pencil, place 50 points at random. The points should be evenly distributed over the area of the wall. All of the points should be connected by straight lines. These are the instructions for creating what conceptual artist wall drawing number 118? Number 4. Peach, lemon, and chocolate all feature into the description of what titular object in an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical? Number 5, and just a heads up, this one has 4 parts.
Great. Sounds good.
Cool. Documentary Now, John Mulaney's show with Seth Meyers and Fred Armisen, riffs on different styles of documentary film, often referencing a specific work. Given the Documentary Now episode, name the film that it was based on. Part A. Original cast album Co-op. Part B, Final Transmission. Part C, Sandy Passage. Part D, Parker Gale's Location is Everything.
Okay. So if you were thinking about that, take a pause right here, and then we will start back up at the top of round number 2. So here we go, back to number 1 of round 2.
Okay, number 1. In 2019, bugling, stamp collecting, and surveying were the 3 least popular activities in terms of recipients in what area of distinction?
Okay. So I think I know this. Looking at the answer here, bugling, stamp collecting, and surveying. So these are all, crafts, hobbies, fields of endeavor, which is a loose term for anything, field of endeavor. I think that these are among the least. I think these are among the least earned merit badges in Boy Scouts. I know all 3 of those are, and I think I'm going to go with that. I will say these are merit badges earned in scouting.
Did you get it, Mike?
Yes.
It was like you left me hanging there. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is there something different here? But yeah, I think I knew. Like I did scouts, and like these are all I think not well earned. And I was like, is there something else it could be? And I was like, that feels about right. I don't think they're not like Eagle required, so like they aren't. Yeah, it's just the individual craft of doing the thing, and learning an instrument isn't exactly on people's to-do list.
And
I was particularly confused when looking up this question, because I was just like, bugling? What's bugling? And it wasn't until I saw a picture of the badge, be like, oh,
yes.
right.
It's a yellow insect that's got a big loop in the middle of it. And
and if there's one thing today that kids love to do when they are not TikToking, it is collecting stamps.
Yeah. And I mean, who knows? Like, I'm sure that the organization has to think about the changes of time, people's hobbies, and stamp collecting is a perfectly valid thing that people do enjoy. But like bugling, I think if you play an instrument, that's easy. But if you don't, you're like pass. You don't have to worry about like an actual classic military thing is learning to bugle, that seems and surveying. An actual important thing that I think
thing. Yeah.
Yes, that's very a real thing that. But I bet it's hard to get your hands on surveying equipment if you're a hobbyist, as opposed to you can go to your actual post office to learn about stamp collecting. You can't steal the theolify or whatever it's called. The actual do the surveying. That's not.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like just handing those out to people if they can keep their hands on the equipment, which is fair.
Really hard to find your local civil engineer sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Equipment is expensive, so you better watch out when you just start giving it away to people on the limb. But no, merit badges, fantastic. There we go.
Okay, question 2. 12 companies comprised the Dow Jones Industrial Average when it was created in 1896. The last of these original companies exited the DJIA group, now with 30 companies, and was replaced by Walgreens Boots Alliance in 2018. What company was replaced?
What was it? Oh, God, I thought I'd say a joke and I forgot it. I forgot. Well, I'll go with my backup joke saying that, I think one of this company's main signature items was the microwave Trivection oven. And I believe this is the General Electric Company is the GE here is the one that got replaced at the end. That's my guess. I will say GE.
That is also correct.
Yes. And help me out. What's the company that buys out Jack Donaghy? It's not Comcast.
Oh, Cabletown.
Cabletown. Oh man, I was like, that's what the joke I was trying to make, and I was like, oh, I forgot Cabletown. It's like it's not Comcast. It's K.
Well, I think technically Cabletown purchased the Scheinhart Wig Company.
Yeah, right. All of it's exactly, and it was and then it had like the Cabletown logo on the top of the building, like how GE had the same logo there. I was trying to remember. I was like, what is it? Cabletown. Exactly right. That's disappointing that I had forgotten that. I have to rewatch 30 Rock sometime. That's due in this quarantine era, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 30 Rock rewrite. That is very good.
It's haunting how much that show has predicted the
Yeah,
last 5 years.
Turns out they were smart writers at a smart time, and yeah, there you go.
Which just thinking of things that 30 Rock predicted or things that seem 30 Rock-esque. Have either of you checked out Quibi?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, first off, you can get 90 days of it for free. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop saying things that sound like ad copy. We do not get promo on the show from Quibi.
No,
yet.
I do know you can get 30. That many days of it. Have you downloaded it yet?
Yes, I have downloaded it because one of the shows they advertised looked like a 30 Rock sight gag.
Oh.
There's a show hosted by Titus Burgess called Dishmantled, where what they do is they load the dish that the chefs need to try and figure out what the hell it is into a t-shirt cannon, something where they start out in hazmat suits with it getting spit out at them by whatever the machine is. They had to taste it and figure out what it is.
That sounds
for some reason this is 6 minutes long.
This is
instead of a 30-second 30 Rock gag that we never speak of again.
I will say 6 minutes is fine. 30 seconds, yeah, it should be 30 minutes. So 6 minutes is the What was it?
I have watched one episode and that was enough.
That seems enough. I will say in a bad part of last year's during December, I watched, I think it was on Freeform or some equivalent of, after watching a movie, it was some gift wrapping reality show where it was just basically, people gift wrapping things. And I was like, this is too long. It's the same. It's they want to be, everybody wants to be Bake Off, but unfortunately, cakes and food comes in many varieties. Gift wrapping has essentially one real, there's not new ways of doing it. There's only there's just the fact of just doing it in general. And it was this is too long. I watched at least two episodes back to back, and it was, that was
just good.
I was you know what? Good on the producers that made a little bit of money and all that. Y'all, well done. But I can imagine that'd be a perfectly good Quibi segue into that.
Good on those producers for convincing a network to air that, because I have done the interview process for plenty of shows where in the middle of the interview I'm thinking to myself, this is never going to be good. This is never going to be a show. This is too niche.
Yeah, it was
But some network was yes, we will buy the gift wrap program and give it 10 episodes.
Exactly. Why? That seems crazy. But maybe the future is, let's not make 30 minutes. Let's make them 6 minutes on your phone. That's all you, and that can do it right there. That's good. But I'm looking for number 3 here. If you could read out number 3 again, because I have
I don't have a clever segue for this, but number 3, on a wall surface, any continuous stretch of wall using a hard pencil, place 50 points at random. The points should be evenly distributed over the area of the wall. All the points should be connected by straight lines. These are the instructions for creating what conceptual artist's wall drawing number 118?
I truly thought this was going to be a geometry problem, some kind of the equivalent of it takes 23 people to have the same birthday in a room, that math problem. I thought it was going to be something in the geometric side. It's going to be an art question. It turned into a quick art question all of a sudden. I was not ready for that turn. So it's going to be a conceptual artist. Wall drawing number 118. Presumably WD-40, it took them 117 earlier attempts so they could find the perfect conceptual art. So who are your conceptual artists? You got your fun people. You got your I think of a lot of Abramovich. You have Yoko. You have Kusama. They're all fun, random folks. I don't really identify this with any of theirs directly in the performance art. Damien Hirst did a lot of fun art thing. He has a fun of shapes like that. Who would be a good answer here? It would lead into Abramovich if it was her, because she also is the subject of a documentary now episode, which would feel fun as a connection of doing research. I think I know a lot of Yoko Ono works. I don't think this is I haven't seen this before. Wall drawing number 118. It's a good name. I presume it's just like WD-40, the exact same naming guide. Could be Kusama, but I don't know who we're doing that. There's other folks too. I'm going to guess. I'm not sure I get all the syllables right, but Marina Abramovich is the conceptual artist here. It will be my guess.
Let's see. So Marina Abramovich is I think classifies herself as a performance artist rather than conceptual artist.
It's a conceptual artist. Gotcha. So I was thinking more. Okay, yeah.
You had mentioned Kusama and Yoko Ono, who I think are much closer
to that. I still even with that, I still agree with that, but it's more performing than conceptual. Conceptual makes it wide open. Still, the other people who are right don't really connect this with any of them directly. I do like them being in the 1950 and later. I don't like this being that's when conceptual art. They didn't have conceptual art in the Renaissance days. There's lots of painters out there. They all paint and they do things. That's what they're known for. That's the whole game, actually. So what is another painter or artist? I still like Abramovich because it was with the documentary Now connection. I'll go Kusama. I'll still go with her. Yeah, with Kusama because I don't know what her second most famous artwork is. Her most famous are her boxes with the, and I mean, I'm sure she's got a full career of art, and this could very well be her number 2. I will guess that. I will guess Yayoi Kusama as my second guess here.
Let's see. So yeah, Kusama's. Let's see. So that is incorrect.
This is Dookie. That's fine.
Yeah. Which. So this will not help you, but just like something I was planning on mentioning anyways. But just as a nice bridge from Kusama. So Kusama currently has has because time doesn't mean anything anymore. What are art installations? Had one of her infinity rooms in the Boston area this winter.
I knew you visited it. That's why I was I felt good in my heart. I was like, maybe he felt inspired by recent events. That's always a good way to write questions. But man, it still isn't it though.
No, still not it. But this artist has a large collection of their work on the other side of the state at the Mass MoCA, the Mass Museum of Contemporary Art.
There's lots of museums in Massachusetts. It's where it's a place where they live. What was it? Is this artist associated with the American Northeast, or this is just because it's a contemporary art museum, their work is in the museum?
Give me just a sec. I don't particularly think of them as connected with the.
Got you. Yeah. Who are more conceptual artists? Man. I don't even know. Is it somebody I've said? That'll be a fun hint. Is it somebody?
No.
All
no,
right.
You've not said this person's name.
That really changes the game a little bit, is to not dwell on the past and think towards the future. Who are other current conceptual, presumably last 100 years conceptual, or 60 years? There's 1,000 people. They all make art. This person's still alive?
No.
Okay. That doesn't help. I mean, there's still people that are dead. How about drawing connecting lines? Anna Mendieta, or however you say her last name. That's not it. Can you give me another artwork by the person, if that helps, or is this their premier art?
So I can give you other works by this artist, but I will also be trolling you if I do so.
You'd be trolling me?
Yeah.
Because it would be...
Well, I can also, I can tell you just some of the other works that they have done that are on display at the other side of Massachusetts are Wall Drawing 340.
But this is there,
yeah. Wall Drawing 422.
Oh, God. This isn't helpful. I think.
Wall drawing 86. Let me see if I can find some other stuff that they are known for.
Good job on them number. I was right about the numbering system. I was exactly right how it was. The number came about. It was in order.
Let's see. So they also you have the time period correct, sort of like after the 50s. So like in the early 60s, they were creating sculptures that they would call structures. So they didn't start out doing weird sets of instructions that anybody can put up anywhere.
Structures. That rings something in me that I've seen that. Structure.
And so in addition to being a conceptual artist, they are sometimes grouped in with the minimalist movement.
Is it someone that's not known for being as a primary art person? They have found career in a different art form, or this is their.
I think they are primarily known for their art.
So I might take a strong hint or an answer at this point. I think I'm not feeling anything in my gut. Structure feels good, but I don't know from where it is.
Okay, so I am out of hints.
That's fine.
I think so. It's Solowit.
How do you spell that?
SOLLEWITT.
I think I've seen that before. And so it's very geometric arting is what.
Yeah, it's very geometric arting. And again, just things like 50 points. And if you look at the Google image results for wall drawing 118, you have a lot of different interpretations of that because it only exists as a set of instructions.
Gotcha.
There are lots of ways you can execute those instructions.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I feel like I might have seen this before. Yeah,
The Mass MoCA, it is a museum that took over like an old factory space. So they have lots of display areas, and they have essentially a wing that is just a bunch of these wall drawings executed. The cafe at the Walker Art Center in Minneapolis, one of my favorite museums, has one of his wall drawings as just like the backdrop to the museum.
Oh, this is all very good art right here. I'm looking at Google Images now. That's great. But did not have that. I'm very disappointed. That is a very good good current art question. And I did not, no, very well written. I'm sorry to not provide you the answer to that. Yeah, there's not many more hints you give me except for like sounding out syllables. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to number 4.
Okay. Number 4.
I'm just going to pop out for a minute. So
that's fine.
Yep.
We'll watch your stuff.
Okay.
He was concerned for a second. Mike was generally concerned when I said we're going to watch your stuff. That's funny.
Anyways, it's fine. These I wrote these next 2 questions. Question 4. Peach, lemon, and chocolate all feature into the description of what titular object in an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical?
This is what jellicle means. Is this different types? Peach jellicle, lemon jellicle, chocolate jellicle. If you translate jellicle into jelly, then that's perfect. You can describe food. You can describe jelly by different words. Peach, lemon, and chocolate. Those are certainly 3 flavors of things. I'm trying to just remember names of musicals. I have an answer. I don't know how right it is, and I'm not even sure. Even if it's close, it sounds like a funny answer. But maybe these aren't all flavors and are actually colors. And this may be they're all technicolors, specifically of Joseph's coat. I'm going to say this is the dream. This is the technicolor dream coat of peach, lemon, and chocolate is going to be my guess.
I was worried over the word titular because I was wondering if that tipped my hand too much. So the full description of this object is that it was red and yellow and green and brown and scarlet and black and ochre and peach and ruby and olive and violet and fawn and lilac and gold and chocolate and mauve and cream and crimson and silver and rose and azure and lemon and russet and gray and purple and white and pink and orange and blue. It is indeed the amazing Technicolor Dream Coat.
Oh, that's great. That is, I was just like, these are all, I want this to be, food feels good. Peach, lemon, and chocolate are definitely flavors. And I don't know if you heard, Mike, but I suggested that these are title things. I said these are what jellicles are. We're defining the word jellicle, and it's peach jellicle, lemon jellicle, chocolate jellicle, which finally just puts an answer to what jellicle even means, because it's unclear.
Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber
Yeah.
misheard the word Jello one time.
Right, exactly. Lemon jello, peach jello, chocolate jello. That's actually correct. Those are all flavors of Jello.
Those are all flavors of Jello products.
Absolutely, peach, lemon, and chocolate are flavors of Jello. So there we go. I know he's performing songs on Twitter every now and then because of the lockdown. So someone needs to tell him, like, did you mean Jello? That's what the hidden meaning is. Finally, that movie makes sense in hindsight. I figured it out. That's great. No. I saw it by myself in an empty theater on a Sunday afternoon. There is no joke in any part of that. That's exactly how I saw that movie. By myself in an empty theater.
Was this in South Carolina?
It was like about 3 Sundays after the Cats had come out. And
it was still in theaters at that point, huh?
It was around. I was at like a Regal 7, and I was like, I'm gonna watch Cats. I've heard there's a lot of people online saying like, just watch it, don't expect a lot, just go see it. And I was like, I went there, and turns out no one else was there. Maybe it was a slow Sunday, you never know. And just but yeah, I saw it by myself. So I got to laugh out loud while watching it, which is probably a thing you don't get to do a lot.
I have not seen it, but only because I do not want to pay money to see it. I will watch it. But I do want to.
If you don't expect anything, it's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. If you expect nothing, it's actually okay. I'm no high art person, so it's like, just see it. It's impressive to see all those famous folks at the same time. That's honestly a treat in itself. Is like, man, they got Idris Elba and Taylor Swift to be in the same movie. That's crazy. Just appreciate it for what it is. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. But Jello Cats, there we go. Now we figured it out. The code's been cracked. I'll take it. But moving on to the 5th in our 4-parter, which is exciting.
So again, number 5, documentary now. John Mulaney's show with Seth Meyers and Fred Armisen riffs on different styles of documentary film, often referencing a specific work in its episodes. Given the documentary now episode, I want to know the film that is actually based on. So the first part, original cast album, Co-op.
So I would like to take the second one last, but to start from A. So Co-op, the musical. You don't own anyone, just a box in the sky. Your neighbor's cooking coffee and your other neighbor died. This is a parody of the D.A. Pennebaker documentary. This is Company original cast album. Is the documentary here. So I have seen Co-op a number of times. And I've also have a copy of the Company documentary, which is very good. So if you've seen one, it's great to see the other.
One you really like,
Yes, it's like, why not? Because it's like, that's I think John Mulaney has talked about, like, he really liked the documentary because it was like working so long at SNL, it was like seeing how coworkers can break at 3 a.m. Like seeing that mentality on screen is like, that's nice. It's a nice connection there. But yeah, Co-op is Company as a. I've also seen the real Company version where Stephen Colbert plays one of the friends.
Yeah, that concert version. Yes.
Yes, it's like Lincoln Center, and then Neil Patrick Harris is Bobby, but Stephen Colbert is one of the other partner pairs, which is very good.
Yes,
Colbert's great. Number 3 is C. Is
Sandy Passage.
Sandy Passage. This is Grey Gardens, the debut episode, which is a movie that's on Canopy that I have not seen yet. I keep wanting to and haven't seen it yet, but Grey Gardens is the documentary here for Sandy Passage. So D is name of it again.
Parker Gale's Location is Everything.
Yes, Parker Gale's Location is Everything. This is the parody of the monologuist Spalding Gray. His monologue, Swimming to Cambodia, is the name of this one. And so if you go back to the first one, which
Final Transmission.
Final Transmission. All right. I'm making sure that I have this. Final Transmission. This isn't I watched the Blue Jean Committee one not too long ago, and that's the history of the Eagles is the name of the documentary there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not it. Like that's not I forgot the name of that episode. I've been trying to think of it because I've seen that one because it's the other one because Final Transmission, which would be thematically correct. I believe this would be Stop Making Sense would be the documentary here and not History of the Eagles. I think this is Stop Making Sense is my guess here.
That's correct.
There we go. And yeah, I remember because it's like, I mean, because I know there's like two really musical ones. Well, there's one like each season. There's one that's the Blue Jean Committee, and the other one is the It's Not Making Sense. I forgot. I saw it, and it's extremely good. The one about the Eagles parody, and I forgot the name of it. I just don't remember. If you have it, I will appreciate you giving me the title of that one because I was making sure. I was just making sure it wasn't that one. The other one I was very confident on, but I needed the. Yeah, because it's the name of the fake title, which are hard to remember. Co-op, they keep yelling the name out loud, so it's easy to remember co-op because that's the first song.
Like, that's why I had that one first. Because I'm like, this one is the gimme of these.
Yes, I got that one. There was going to be no doubt there.
But yeah, Blue Jean Committee is History of the Eagles.
Is that the name of the? Is that the name?
As the name of the documentary.
Gotcha. History. No, the name of the fake documentary, the one about the Blue Jean Committee.
The fake documentary is Gentle and Soft, the story of the Blue Jean Committee.
Gentle and Soft. That's what it was. I was trying to remember that. I couldn't remember the name of the fake documentary, Gentle and Soft. There you go. That's good. But no, I will take my points on that. So, and a good documentary now question. Fantastic. So right now, I have scored, I believe, 4 outright, and that puts it at 7.5. So we both currently have 7.5 as we go into round number 3. So here we go. These are the Diablo questions. So we're bringing the heat. And hopefully, these are 5 excellent questions here. So number 1, along with Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, name the 2 other people who were depicted in the operatic trilogy, The Portrait Trilogy by Philip Glass. These 2 people were the winner and runner-up of the 1999 contest Time Person of the Century. That's number 1. Number 2, British-Canadian citizen Stephen Christmas was diagnosed with what disease in 1952? Number 3, Ken Saro-Wiwa, who was executed in 1995 as a part of his environmental activism protesting Royal Dutch Shell, wrote a 1985 novel written in what language? Number 4, just because movies are old, it doesn't mean they can't be cheesy. Mystery Science Theater 3000 has reviewed 6 films released in the 1940s. The Brute Man, The Corpse Vanishes, The Mad Monster, and what 3 other films that don't begin with the article the? That's number 4. But number 5 is our final Eurovision question. So I'm about to read you out a paragraph that has 2 blanks in it. Just I'm going to read it all together. It's squat and hardly beautiful, but at night this diamond-faceted sports and concert venue twinkles mysteriously across the bay in subdued colors. In Year Redacted, it hosted the most lavish Eurovision Song Contest ever held, and what was then the biggest international happening to have been held in place withheld. I want you to name the venue being described in this paragraph. And I also want you to name the 2016 book which you would find this paragraph. So those are the 5 questions in round 3. So if you're thinking about that, take a pause and we will start back up at the top at number 1. Is along with Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, name the 2 other people who were depicted in the operatic trilogy, The Portrait Trilogy by Philip Glass. These 2 people were the winner and runner-up of the 1999 contest Time Person of the Century. So that is number 1.
Okay, Mike, I think I have one of these.
Okay.
And like, so first off, I was getting real excited because Akhenaten, apparently the Mets' current production of it is fantastic, and I mostly know that from New Yorker food writer Helen Rosner raving about it on Twitter. That almost got me to go see it in theaters, but then I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember if I like opera or not. And that, and like, I don't want to be 4 hours into a Philip, because I'm like, Philip Glass is a minimalist, and I'm not sure I like minimalist music either. But
maybe minimalist opera is the
thinking about Philip
diagram.
Glass, yeah, thinking about Philip Glass and Time runners up for People of the Century. I think he wrote an opera for Einstein on the Beach.
Okay.
So I could see Einstein being one part of his portrait trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That is the end of my brain's knowledge on Philip Glass operas.
I have nothing to add. Well, like, I guess Time Person of the Year. It was winner and runner up.
Okay, Time Person of the Century.
Of the century.
The century.
Yeah. Okay. It was the winner and runner up.
I mean, I think Einstein would definitely fall into that category.
Einstein definitely fits in that category.
Oh, but who would be the other half of that?
Okay, and then there is an opera Nixon in China, but I'm not sure if Philip Glass wrote it or not.
Mm.
And I also do not think that either Richard Nixon or
China
China would be number two, would be either winner or runner up of Time's poll.
Yeah, I just do not know Philip Glass's work beyond jokes about it on like South Park, so that's really not going to get us anywhere.
That one joke about it on South Park. He also did the music for the movie series that's just time-lapse footage that uses words that I don't know how to pronounce.
He does music for his cousin Ira for This American Life as well, which is a fun fact.
Huh.
Oh, that makes sense.
They are related, and Philip Glass has given music to Ira for his show, which is a cool thing.
Interesting.
Makes sense. I don't know if they ever see each other at the the reunions.
Yeah.
I guess so. Just to confirm that we have the half point, is Einstein one of the answers here?
Albert Einstein is the main character of Einstein on the Beach. That is correct. That is one of them.
Okay.
Henry Ford?
I don't think there's an opera about Henry Ford. And like, I feel like Einstein was the winner of Time's Person of the Century.
Yeah.
General relativity, etc.
Yeah. Yeah, like I have nothing to
I've got like
hook onto.
Nothing. Yeah, I know that it's incorrect, but just to give a second answer, Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon. So Nixon in China, a very prominent opera, and it was written by John Adams. Is the name of the composer there. But Nixon, a very prominent figure in the 20th century. That's not a
it's not a terrible guess.
No, for sure.
I'm in the right ballpark.
Yeah, that is a very, very solid. He's a very famous person. The third part of this opera trilogy, the name of the opera is Satyagraha, if that narrows it down to who the person might be.
Nope.
Satyagraha is the name of the nonviolence ideology by Gandhi. Gandhi is the person.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and he is the character. He's the main figure in that one. But and he was the runner-up of the Gandhi's a very good 20th century figure as well. But
heard of him?
Yeah. Exactly. And this is one of those where it's like I've been having who should I give it to? And certainly you could really know your opera, which I wasn't expecting. You knew at least Einstein on the Beach was very good. But it's like you could just if you can figure out who's another famous figure of the
Mhm.
20th century. You might just guess Gandhi. He definitely fits that bill.
He
But
fits the bill.
absolutely. But no, Einstein was the winner and Gandhi was runner-up. Apparently, FDR was number 3. So but there was no opera about him. So
Yeah.
there you go. But no, very well done. Full half credit on that for Mr. Albert Einstein. Was he on the beach? Good question.
Yeah.
It did not appear in the. I did not see from the notes that he was actually in the sand. Number 2 is British Canadian citizen Stephen Christmas was diagnosed with what disease in 1952?
Okay, so Mike, the first thing that came to mind for me, and I don't know if it's right, but it feels like it's about the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Polio.
That sound like that's the right era, but why this particular person? Like, why is that notable?
I'm wondering if it's like the first person to get like the Salk vaccine or something like that, or like someone who is useful for the research of that. I think Mike might have frozen.
No, that's
Okay.
That's just me.
Responding still late. Yes.
Yeah. Could you repeat the question?
Sure. British Canadian citizen Stephen Christmas was diagnosed with what disease in 1952?
Yeah, like British Canadian has to be important. The fact we get like his full name, I don't know.
That's not. Is that the person that the Elephant Man is based on, or is the timing of that wrong?
The timing of that feels wrong to me.
The name sounds very familiar in this context, and I can't place it. It's not leprosy. It's not. Stephen Christmas. British Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's polio, but I feel like I need a hint to come up with a better guess.
So I guess, is it polio?
It is not polio.
Okay.
So Stephen Christmas. So the name is important there because Christmas disease is another name for this disease.
Okay.
That was a name that was used, was Christmas disease.
Right.
That may not. You have to know some. I think this might be some pretty good medical history to. If that, I can give you another hint.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking to myself. It sounds like Christmas disease sounds like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strange name, but it's because it's named after a person named Stephen Christmas.
Yeah.
I will give you another hint about this. Is saying so. Stephen Christmas was British Canadian, but this disease is most closely associated with a Russian person.
Okay.
Okay,
for a brief second before we got that information, Mike, I was thinking it was possibly like ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, but I don't believe Lou Gehrig is Russian, so that kind of throws that out there.
Yeah.
He was in fact from America. I'll tell you that Lou Gehrig.
I'm like, he's an American.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason I was thinking leprosy, which I think is also Hansen's disease, but that doesn't sound like that would be associated with Russian either.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. Like I'm drawing a blank.
Let's see. So I will say that the first name of the person that had this disease was Alexei, which is a common Russian name, but
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. Only the one Russian,
that's
Alexei.
right.
Yeah. No, the other one. um,
Alexei died at age 13.
um,
And Alexei was a Romanov.
Okay. So
Oh.
my brain going to like a weird Anastasia place was correct.
So what's your guess? I thought you
I don't have a guess. I'm
or-
just like that's where my brain was saying with like the
Mike
Russian,
just,
like the
Mike
Tsar.
just said hemophilia, and that is what it is. This
Huh.
is it says
Oh,
hemophilia.
okay.
Hemophilia B is also called Christmas disease, and it's exactly. I think Alexei's hemophilia was like I think A or C, one of the other letters. Hemophilia B is what Christmas is, and he was actually born in 47. He was diagnosed with it in 52, and so he was about 5 years old. And so
Okay.
it's called Christmas disease, and tragically, he died in 1993 from AIDS because hemophilia requires a lot of blood.
Oh.
And this was one of the terrible examples of someone dying from a blood transfusion before the blood testing was done more regularly for blood donors. And so
Okay. Was there a TV movie about that? Like
there very well might have been.
Okay.
I don't know that, but yeah, but it was it was Stephen Christmas disease is another name for hemophilia B, but hemophilia is a disease there. Kind of a bummer biology question, but most biology questions are kind of bummers in the long run.
Yeah. No.
Unless you ask like names of bones, you know how other classic biology questions, that you see in bar trivia. But no, hemophilia. Moving on to something somewhat more fun. Ken Saro-Wiwa, who was executed in 1995 as a part of his environmental activism protesting Royal Dutch Shell, wrote a 1985 novel written in what language?
This is just a great question about what countries did the Dutch used to own? Like I like my brain is immediately going to Indonesia.
Wait, you want the country or the language?
I want the language that the book is written in.
Okay. Yeah, the thought that came to my mind was like Esperanto or some other like just unexpected language.
Okay. But yeah, but yeah, no, I'm because like I'm just trying to think of like what countries did the Dutch used to own, and like Indonesia is a big one. Like
Suriname,
like the ABC Islands.
yeah.
What was the wait, did you give us the title of the book?
I did not give you the title of the book. No.
Okay. What was the name of the person then?
Ken Saro-Wiwa. First name is Ken, and surname is Saro-Wiwa.
Okay.
I say Wiwa. I'm not sure if that's exactly right, but yeah.
I don't know. Again, my brain goes to Indonesia. Just like who are countries that have oil deposits and who would.
Yeah.
Like I'm not super confident on it, but.
Yeah. So what language would you?
Yeah, what language is? Yeah, is there Indonesian, or is there like are there specific languages spoken in Indonesia?
Hmm. Um.
What country is Tagalog associated with?
Philippines.
Okay, thank you.
Um.
Were the Philippines owned? No, the
No,
U.S.
they were Spanish and then
and then yeah.
U.S. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, no, I did. I read a book about that. We took so much of their guano.
Oh yeah, that book.
Yes.
um. Oh goodness. Could you repeat the question one more time?
Sure. Is Ken Saro-Wiwa, who was executed in 1995 as part of his environmental activism protesting Royal Dutch Shell, wrote a 1985 novel written in what language?
Weird question, Mike. Just
Yeah.
thinking about this too much. Is that the novel that the movie that Spalding Gray's
Oh.
lecture thingy was about the process of making? Because I think that was around that time.
Huh.
The Killing Fields.
Right. So that would be Cambodia.
That would be Cambodian, possibly.
Yeah. We can go with that.
Yeah, because like I don't hate that as a guess.
Yeah.
Cambodian.
Cambodian is your guess here. Cambodian or Khmer would probably be the language spoken in Cambodian, but it is not that part of the world.
Okay.
I will say you're right about oil. That is the main. Is like he was protesting oil, and this country that where he's from is oil rich. I will give you the country that Ken Saro-Wiwa was a citizen of and executed by it. The country is Nigeria.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I'll give you the name of the novel as well as the next guess. Next hint.
Is it possible the novel was just in English? That feels like a weird gimme, though.
Yeah, but it's all about context. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure what languages are spoken in Nigeria.
Same. No. French. Maybe.
Yeah, I colonialism is just not my strong suit. So
Sure.
Can we get the title of the novel?
Yes. The title of the novel is Soza Boy. Sozaboy. And this is where you gotta either know it or you don't, probably.
Yeah. English?
You have to be slightly more specific than English.
Okay. Work with that.
Yeah.
British English? No.
Hans? No, that's some sort of dialect of English. I don't know, Pidgin English?
That is fine. Pidgin English is fine. Is an acceptable answer. So Ken Saro-Wiwa was a Nigerian activist who he wrote novels as well. He's known for this bit of writing. Was an activist most of his life, and he wrote a novel about the Nigerian Civil War. And the title of the novel is Soza Boy, a novel in rotten English is the name of the book. And so rotten English is the name of the language he wrote the book in, of which it is written, but it is described as Nigerian Pidgin English is the other
Okay.
for it.
Yeah, and like with that title, I was like, okay, that sounds like it's gonna be like a dialect almost.
Right. And so it was like saying what language was it written in, like rotten English is like, it's kind of like, what it's kind of shooting for there. So it was like, given, the name of the book is Soza Boy, a novel in rotten English. And Pidgin, acceptable because it is the same language, but rotten English is the best answer. That's the name of the book. But
okay.
There you go. A long walk, but also, important Nigerian, good African literature as well. Soza Boy. But moving U-turn from Nigerian literature is, just because movies are old, it doesn't mean they can't be cheesy. So MST3K has reviewed 6 films released in the 1940s. The Brute Man, The Corpse Vanishes, The Mad Monster, and what 3 other films that do not begin with the leading article B?
Chris, like the one thing I do not pay attention to when I watch Mystery Science Theater is what year the movie they're watching is.
That's fair. And so you got a gut feeling, what feels old? What might be a movie that's actually old?
I mean, like things that come to mind for me, just sort of trying to rack my brain towards what movies have they watched. Like I keep hitting things that feel very 50s to me. Because I keep hitting things like I Accuse My Parents, which I'm pretty sure is from the 50s because that's when we had all the teenage delinquency that we needed to fix. Teenagers from Outer Space, again, teenage delinquency, fixing it. And then, like, on the other hand, they watched, like, a bunch of these terrible Commander Cody shorts I think are from, like, the 30s and 40s. But, like, those were, like, the amuse-bouche for the actual movie.
Yes. I would say these are all the cinematic films. None of these are any shorts. These are all films.
I think there's one where it's, like, Marooned, where it's a movie that had a different title, and then they recut it, and it became Marooned. But that, again, might be a 50s one.
Wasn't there, like, Cat People or Cats?
Cat People, I think, was 50s as well.
Yeah.
There's...
No, that one starts with... Ed Wood was mid-50s, right?
Yeah, Ed Wood was the 50s.
Okay.
And I feel like they didn't watch a ton of Ed Wood movies on the show.
They did Bride of the Monster.
Okay. They did, yeah.
There was another Bela Lugosi one that they did, but I think that one was
and
contemporary with that.
I think the one that I was just thinking of was The Corpse Vanishes, where that one... So that one is not... Are these movies in a series?
No, to my knowledge, no.
Okay. I figured not, but I thought I would just ask.
These 3 films are unrelated to the 3 other films I mentioned and are not, they're standalone films.
So they're not the Italian Hercules movies.
Yeah, it's not like 1, 2, 3 or anything like that. That's 3 different movies.
Yeah, because like when they did things like that, that was like 60s or 70s even, when they would watch like both Master Ninja 1 and 2 or recut TV specials. Okay, there's all the Russo-Finnish co-productions, but those are again like 50s or 60s. Just like every movie that is coming up for me is like 60s. Just like Wild World of Batwoman, 50s. EGOT, 61. Manos, The Hands of Fate, also the 60s.
So there's a renaissance of making movies in the 60s. So it's the back when every movie counted era of the 40s, where it's like, the whole studio's on the line, basically, was the movie making mentality back in the day. So there's less bad ones than back in the day because everything counted so much. There was actual like financial ruin if you didn't make a good movie back in the
This
day.
is making. On the other hand, the fact that this question exists in your set makes me very happy that I could not figure out a way to write a Manos Hands of Fate question.
Yeah.
I would have known that immediately.
I will say, because I know y'all are struggling, is that one movie that has been said is a correct answer.
Yeah, I'm thinking I Accuse My Parents is
Okay.
in the mix.
I'm thinking it's like Marooned is the one. Because again, that one had a different title, and then it got somehow recut and reissued, and was like weirdly older. But no, I'm weirdly confident that I Accuse My Parents was not from the 40s, and my hubris could be my downfall there. I don't know. Is Marooned one of them?
Marooned or Space Travelers is either name is fine. It's from 1969.
Ah! Wow! So far off. Okay. Okay, Mike. It might be I Accuse My Parents then. That could be like late 40s.
Yeah, because I feel like it's all like just considering the run of MST3K, it would be earlier in the run.
Yeah. Yeah, like these feel like Joel episodes.
Yeah, like partly for like public domain issues and
yeah, because like in the earlier years you'd want like the public domain stuff.
So for I Accuse My Parents is from 1944.
Okay.
Wow.
It is one of them.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite anecdotes about the show, as long as we're thinking about this, is just thinking about the early days. Frank talks about having to explain to the movie distributors that no, they did want because usually you had to like buy these packages of movies and then like sort through them to find the stuff, and he had to try to explain to the film distributors that he didn't want the cocaine, he wanted the baby laxative that they cut the cocaine with.
Yeah, it turns out there's a lot of movies you have to like Venn diagram, which makes it tricky, and that is fair. You know, I want like I said, you can still have fun topics in the trickiness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
One about
no, like this is a good one because like they don't do a lot of 40s movies for the exact reason you explained, is that those ones count.
Yeah.
Were either of these movies holiday movies?
No, both Santa Claus and Santa Claus Conquers the Martians are
no, neither involved
Okay.
a jolly Santa Claus.
I'm glad that you knew exactly which ones I was thinking of.
Yes.
I will say that so I Accuse My Parents is 1944. The other two movies are both from the year 1948.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think how I can hint it. I just give you the initials of the movie, which you'll probably crack immediately if you know the movies. I'll give you another about a minute or so before you.
I mean, I would not hate the initials.
No, sure. I'll give you one right now. So one initial is JG.
JG.
Yeah. I want that J to be juvenile. Or something.
Jungle
Goddess?
Jungle Goddess is the film. That is right, from 1948. And the other one is LOTWH.
LOTWH.
WH. Like Land of the, or something of the something something. Legend of the something something.
Last of the
Wild somethings. I think I'm mashing it up with an actual film that was not on Mystery Science Theater in my brain.
No.
What if I told you that Last of the Wild is the first 4 words of the movie?
Okay. Okay, so my brain is in the correct spot. Last of the Wild Horses.
That's the name of the movie. Last of the Wild Horses.
Because that's the one where Frank and Dr. F go in the theater for a segment.
That's correct. I did discover when I was doing my research that is correct. That is a true statement about that. Very
like
well
that
done.
segment exists.
Yeah. This is this is probably things that have never even been asked before. I try to write questions that probably have never been asked in the variety they've been asked at. And so
yeah, it's like that is an angle on Mystery Science Theater I had not thought of.
Exactly. That is the level I want to work with when I'm writing questions like this, which leads us to our Eurovision question. I'll read out the paragraph again. It's squat and hardly beautiful, but at night this diamond-faceted sports and concert venue twinkles mysteriously across the bay in subdued colors. In Year Redacted, it hosted the most lavish Eurovision Song Contest ever held, and what was then the biggest international happening to have been held in location withheld. Name the venue being described in this paragraph, and also name the 2016 book which you would find this paragraph. So you can start saying what you're thinking.
Okay, so Mike, are we in agreement? This is the dumb stadium from the 2011 Azerbaijan contest.
The 2012.
The 2012, yeah,
2012, the Crystal Hall in
the Crystal
Baku.
Hall in Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
because that stadium was too big.
Yeah, and
it was too big.
And like human rights violations with eminent domain.
Thing, yeah. It's like kind of shiny on the outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that sounds like it's the Azerbaijan Crystal Hall.
But the 2016 book.
I'm just assuming that's like whatever architect was responsible for that building. Writing a book about their work.
Have we successfully filled in the blanks that you were looking for?
The blanks have been filled in.
Okay.
The 2012, and I'll even tell you that Azerbaijan is the second blank here, and Crystal Hall is the first half of that. Is correct. That is the venue being described.
Okay.
So now it is the book. It is now the book in question.
Could you reread the quote?
Sure. I'll even fill in the blanks here. It's squat and hardly beautiful, but at night this diamond-faceted sports and concert venue twinkles mysteriously across the bay in subdued colors. In 2012, it hosted the most lavish Eurovision Song Contest ever held, and what was then the biggest international happening to have been held in Azerbaijan.
Okay, so with the 2016, I'm trying to figure out if I own the book that this is in. Because is this the, well, I guess, question for this, is this the book about the Eurovision Song Contest?
Is that a question for me or for Mike?
That's a question for you, Chris.
It is not.
Okay, never mind. I don't own this book.
2016. I'm thinking it could be a travel guide or some.
Could this be like a weird Guinness Book of World Records sort of a deal somehow?
Huh.
I guess on the other hand, like the paragraph this is from is specifically talking about the architecture and is saying that it's not. Can you give us the opening sentence of that paragraph again, Chris?
Yeah. It's squat and hardly beautiful, but at night this diamond-faceted sports and concert venue twinkles mysteriously across the bay in subdued colors. That's one of the two sentences.
Okay. So yeah, like it's focusing on the location and it's focusing on the building itself.
Was there anything else happening?
I will say that for 2016, that the exact year of the book isn't terribly important. So
okay.
So 2016 isn't. That is just the year this book came out.
Okay, but it's not part of the historical context of.
No, like not
Okay.
thinking like an Olympic year or something like that. Like it's not.
Right.
Yeah, the year is just when this book came out. It's not the main detail. It is after 2012. It's probably the main detail. That's after the contest itself.
Yeah.
It's not a book about the contest, so it has nothing to do with the 60th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Like, what other reasons would you be writing about this specific stadium in Azerbaijan?
This is a great question. I'm not gonna lie. This is excellent.
I'm also like wondering if it's like a Dan Brown book where it's just like what's his name, Robert Langdon, whatever is
Langdon. Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And it's very clear the author just did a quick Wikipedia search for what else is in Azerbaijan right now.
Yeah.
I can give you a slight hint that might get you towards. I really want y'all to work this one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might help to know the countries around Azerbaijan.
Okay, so we've got Georgia, we've got Armenia, we've got Russia. We've got Turkey. Iran is not that far away.
Like the timing would be wrong because this would need to be something before then, because I don't think that Sacha Baron Cohen is doing anything with Borat then, but I also don't think that Kazakhstan is anywhere near.
I will say that Borat is not involved.
Yeah.
Again, like that was
good.
That was 2009.
Not a good path to go down would be the Borat route. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. This would have been a couple of years after the annexation of Crimea. Armenia, Turkey.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just can't think of any books that.
Yeah, books, which again, 2016 is not necessarily super integral to this, but that's context for why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like with 2015, that would have been the 100th anniversary of the
Armenian. Yeah. Because they just did the 2015 contest at. There's a thing online called Eurovision Again that's happening on Saturdays, where last Saturday we watched 2015. Armenia's entry then, genealogy was because of the 100th anniversary of that. They had like one singer from each continent.
Oh, nice.
But in theory, yes. Actuality, it kind of hit the same sort of a deal as D-Mol, where it's just at a certain point you just have 6 singers sort of screaming at one another.
Sure, it's a good idea on paper. It's very more like an art piece than it is a song.
Yeah, it's a great idea for a group, but
right.
For a contest that is not supposed to be political at all. So.
Yeah.
You want another hint here?
Yeah.
So I guess my hint here, so I can have y'all work it out, is what type of book might contain the paragraph? That's, I think, going to be the linchpin to all this, is where might you see that paragraph?
Okay.
I mean, that particular phrasing like is making me think of like World Book, but I don't know, like World Book Encyclopedia or.
Yeah, it feels very encyclopedia. It feels very travel guide. It's sort of giving you like a quick skim on, hey, this is a building that while you're in downtown Baku.
Yeah.
that you can see from your hotel window, along with the Maiden Tower, the other building I remember from the promotional materials during the 2012
Huh.
con.
Yeah, is it like the Lonely Planet travel guide to Eurasia? Or
That is what it is.
really?
It's the Lonely Planet of Armenia. More specifically, it's Lonely Planet, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan.
Okay.
And the trick here is that this would have been after the 2013 Armenian song Lonely Planet, which was a
Yes.
Eurovision entry here. Is that this is from Lonely Planet Armenia, which is from the group The Dorians, is the notes I have here.
Yep.
And this is specifically a Lonely Planet paragraph about Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan.
This is when the word Eurovision appears in a Lonely Planet book, and that is the exact connection there, is that
Wow.
Azerbaijan's neighbor Armenia has wrote a song about Lonely Planet, which is not the travel guide book, but that is exactly
Yeah.
The Crystal Hall is kind of tacky looking.
But you did describe it's the Crystal Hall, and it is what the Crystal Hall's description is in the book Lonely Planet, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. And it is
Yes.
that is a very hard question, but it's like if you knew your 2013 lineup, that might have been like Lonely Planet. That is the actual linchpin to everything. That was the hill to die on, was Lonely Planet, was the actual. So I needed like Lonely Planet there basically to come up with that. Exactly it.
They were very annoyed with my write-up when I reviewed that song for 2013. I did not care for their music video because it looked very green screen and cheap.
That's a shot. And but no, that is Lonely Planet Armenia. There you go. There's the connection there. I hope that all. No, you probably hate me for that question because I feel like
I think it's great. Yeah,
that was great. Like we both immediately knew that you were talking about the 2012 contest in Baku.
No, all of that you had exactly right, which was all very good knowledge. And then it was, could you recognize a Lonely Planet paragraph out of context?
Yeah, we were getting there. We were getting.
No, you did. Yeah, exactly.
Like a travel guide.
And but that you had travel guide was right. You just needed the most famous brand of them, and that was it. But no. All of that, I think you got 3 halves there. So I will say 1.5 on all that. And like as I said before, that round 3 are half court shots. If anything goes in, it's all the congratulations. So there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect Crystal Hall knowledge and the very, very cryptic clue of Lonely Planet is appreciative. So there you go. But very well done on all that. Big, very well done. So now we turn the tides and see what nonsense y'all have for me.
Yes, and just looking over this, Mike, I have the first 3 and you have the last 2.
Yes, and I don't feel guilty about the difficulty at this point.
No, not at all. That's what I'm saying. The point is to write good, crazy questions. That is the point of round 3. So here we go. Let's see what we got.
Okay, yeah, I'm feeling very good about some of the last minute changes I made to these now.
Oh, God.
Okay, question number 1. Piles of cellophane-wrapped candies with an ideal weight, stacks of leaflets, and beaded curtains feature prominently in the work of what artist who represented the United States posthumously at the Venice Biennale in 2007?
What was that last thing you said? Venice?
The Venice Biennale in 2007.
Okay.
Number 2 has 2 parts.
Okay.
The Booker Prize was awarded to 2 books for the second time in its history in 2019, breaking a rule created after the 1992 prize was split. Can you name, first, the book that split the prize with Barry Unsworth's Sacred Hunger in 1992, later adapted into an Oscar-winning film in 1996? And then for the second part of the question, can you name the book that split the prize with Margaret Atwood's The Testaments in 2019, making its author the first Black woman and the first Black British author to win the prize?
Okay.
Question 3. The Art of Noise's 1986 single, Paranymia, featured vocals from what 80s television character whose image was used a year later in the signal hijacking of 2 Chicago area TV stations?
All right, number 4. Michigan achieved statehood and received what was thought to be the worthless Upper Peninsula region before the discovery of copper and iron deposits as part of a compromise to end a war over a strip of land named after what city? And number 5, John Mulaney hosted Saturday Night Live on February 29th, 2020, the first time anyone hosted a new episode of the show on a leap day. The last leap day to fall on a Saturday was in 1992. The last new episode of SNL before February 29, 1992 was hosted by 2 people, and the first new episode after that date was hosted by 1 person. And all 3 of these hosts were cast members of the same television show. What show did these 3 people share?
So those are the 5 questions. And
Those are the 5 questions.
There we go. So now you want to pause it, and we'll start back up to the top. So number 1 in this set.
Number 1, piles of cellophane-wrapped candies with an ideal weight, stacks of leaflets, and beaded curtains feature prominently in the work of what artist who represented the United States posthumously at the Venice Biennale in 2007?
Yeah. So, I like, I don't know what the Venice Biennale is. I know that means it's a thing that takes place in Venice every 2 years. That's not very helpful. That's just defining it. So it's an odd years if it's still going on. Piles of cellophane candy with ideal weights is the exact description. Also, piles of leaflets and then beaded curtains. So I'm not sure if this is physical or art. Like, I don't know what this could be. I posthumously, they also had to die. That's part of the deal. Piles of cellophane candy with ideal weights. That's an extreme description of whatever this is. And beaded curtains. God. Featured in an event. I don't know if this is real life or it's fake. I don't even know. What's even a guess here? I'm going to guess badly. This isn't great. Richard Hamilton is my guess.
Richard Hamilton is nowhere near the correct answer.
God. So nowhere even near. So I'm afraid what kind of artist this might be. So like he was the first pop artist.
Would you like to see a picture of one of his works?
Oh God, that's how hard this answer is that you're going to show me a picture of the work and it might not even help. I'll look at a picture and see what you got.
Okay.
So
this is one of those piles of candy.
Oh man, that doesn't help. Because you defined it perfectly. That is exactly what I'm looking at too. That's a pile of candy in a corner of a room.
Mm-hmm. It has an ideal weight of 175 pounds for reasons I will explain once we get past this question.
175 pounds. Wonder if that's like the I-143 from Mr. Rogers, 175 is like another equivalent phrase like that. It has a picture of candy. You weren't wrong. That's exactly what that was, to the letter. This makes me. I'm not sure I have an answer for this. Is maybe Chuck Close? Isn't he dead, or is he still alive?
He's still alive.
He's still alive. I'm trying to think who this could. Who's a name I know? I'm not even sure if this name is going to mean anything to me. This person sounds wild. But no, you show me exactly what I looked at.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't help. I might have to either take a strong hint or pass, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have a good.
No, sure. This might have to be telling me who it is. I'm not sure I know who this.
Yeah. So the artist is Felix Gonzalez Torres.
Felix Gonzalez Torres.
And so the artwork I showed you is untitled, but then in parentheses portrait of Ross in LA. So a lot of his work is particularly around the process of living with AIDS or being with people who live with AIDS. So you have things like piles of candy that people are actively encouraged to take, or leaflets that people are actively encouraged to taste as things waste away.
Sure, got you. That's I thought Hockney, because he also painted things of that seemed beaded curtains is a very LA thing to me. That feels like where beaded curtains are demonstrated. But no, Felix Gonzalez, that's a very good, that's a good art thing. And it was I thought like Richard Hamilton had like a Tootsie Pop, and just what is it about his painting? But nope, that was physical candy in the corner of a room, and I did not. That was
Yep. It is a pile of candy.
That's exactly what you said. You did not mince any words there. That is exactly what it was. So that's all very fair. That's good. That's a very good thing.
Like I know that he does artwork prep for Learned League.
Mm-hmm.
Has he done anything? Has he, particularly on contemporary art, has he done anything with this?
As far as I know, I have not seen this. I think he goes traditional, and then female painters are allowed to whatever range he needs to.
Yeah, and then Thorsten allows female painters in.
Yes, which you got to prepare. That's why Laura gave me 3 female painter questions last weekend, and they were hard. Let me tell you what, I did not have them. I felt bad because it was I went 0 for 3 on the female painting question, which is the category I chose, which is not great. Yeah, that'll get you.
Hard. Okay. So, question 2. The Booker Prize was awarded to 2 books for the second time in its history in 2019, breaking a rule created after the 1992 prize was split. Can you first name the book that split the prize with Barry Unsworth's Sacred Hunger in 1992, later adapted into an Oscar-winning film in 1996?
I'll take the second one first.
Okay. The second one is the book that split the prize with Margaret Atwood's The Testaments in 2019, making its author the first Black woman and first Black British author to win the prize.
Yes. So I believe that this book, I think I know this one. I believe the author is Bernardine Evaristo. I believe the name of the novel is it like Girl Other Woman? Is that what is it the name of it? I think it's like Girl Other. It's something. I think I got most of the words right, and I might be one off. I like Girl Other Woman. I think it.
Okay, so you have the correct combination of words, just the wrong permutation of them.
Other. I think it's other. No. Other woman, girl. Yeah, I mean, there's 6 ways to do it.
You now have it backwards. It's girl, woman, other.
Girl, woman, other. There we go.
But yeah, you were in the ballpark.
Yes, I got the 3 words. I just misspoke. That's what it was. I have complete word dyslexia where they can go.
I will give you that one because like you knew the author, and I very quickly revised this question a couple hours before we taped to be like, he's going to know the author because I've listed that as my Learned League. What's happening this season?
Yes, and but no, that is good. But now we come back to the 1992 book. That is not as obvious.
First time they had a split.
Yes. I was looking at Booker Prize not even too long ago when I noticed that. I noticed it was the split because it was a big deal. It was 2 people, and 92. You didn't say it's shared with a person. We didn't say it's a book of the author, and then made it to a 96 film. Oh man, 92. Remains of the Day. That's my guess.
Not correct.
I think it won. I don't know what year it won, but it was a book made into a movie that won a Booker Prize. That I don't know how the spread was though. I'm not sure. 92. I wasn't reading in 92. I'm not sure I have this. I might need either a hint or an author to. I'm sure the book's famous, or is it? Who knows? That's the question.
Well, yeah. I would focus on the fact that it's also an Oscar-winning film.
96. So 95 was Titanic. So this is the year after. But what were the movies in 96? I only hear about these in hindsight. I wasn't watching movies in 96 either. I was watching movies, but they were more watching Toy Story and Robin Hood for 100 times. That was what I was watching in 96. No, I'm not sure I have. Who's an actor in the movie? Actor or actress?
Give me a second.
That might not help at all. That might just be may name famous person. I'm like, still don't know.
Ray Fiennes.
How about the book being Schindler's Ark by Richard White or Thomas White? Thomas White.
Nope.
But I still like Schindler's Ark. Is my guess though.
What was the guess again?
Schindler's Ark is the name of the book.
Incorrect.
Oh God, that definitely felt real good because Schindler's List is the film and Schindler's Ark is the name of the book, and so it's another. Is it Oscar and Lucinda? Isn't he in that? Ray Fiennes?
No.
By another Australian authorist. That's the word for it. What's he in? He's in. I don't know. Even that.
Okay.
What is it?
Do you want the answer?
Yes, I'll take the answer.
Okay, it's The English Patient.
That's a movie. I've heard of that before. That's yeah. He's in that. I've heard he's the person in that, but
yeah,
The English Patient. Who wrote that?
Michael. Now I need the correct tab up. It is Michael Ondaatje.
Yeah, I still like Schindler's Ark. That's not bad. I know that one, and he's in it, and yeah, that's just the wrong year.
Okay.
He likes Booker Prizes. That's a good casting.
Again, the thing I had not noticed is that when they held the Golden Man Booker Prize in 2018, this won that too. So it is okay.
Nice.
Anyways, question 3. The Art of Noise's 1986 single, Paranimia, featured vocals from what 80s television character whose image was used a year later in the signal hijacking of 2 Chicago area TV stations?
I'm excited because I did not know that first half at all, but that's all fair. This is, I believe the answer to this is Max Headroom is the 80s character here. So I still don't know who Max Headroom is. I've even looked into it every now and then. And it's this guy with a haircut in front of these lines on a digital screen. I still don't know what it is. It's not like it was a TV show. What is
it? Was.
So
yeah,
it
was a TV show of like a dystopian future, and I watched a couple episodes, and even watching the episodes, it's like I was not able to follow what was going on.
I thought it was like it wasn't like a TV show with like X number of seasons, X number of episodes. It just looked like it was a figure on the TV, and yeah, and it was like
I think that I may be incorrect in this, but I believe that Matt Frewer's character got like uploaded to the computer somehow, like he was an ad exec, and then
it all seems like a fever dream. Everything I've ever read about Max Headroom, it seems like a fever dream, and it just seems like it almost seems like it was a fake thing. And I know that the Chicago hacking, I think it's still unsolved or something.
It's still unsolved. We don't know who did that. The video of it is on YouTube.
Right, and it's just like
the reason we have the video of the one on the PBS station is because in 1986 you had to tape episodes of Doctor Who off of PBS.
The past.
And that's how we were able to get an archival copy, is that they just called up the people who were taping Doctor Who in 1986, be like, "Hi, do you remember when that weird thing popped up on screen for 15 seconds? Can we have that?" That's
good. That's wild. And I knew Max Headroom is the answer here, but it wasn't it wasn't that. And it's like he just always seems like this weird, like I don't even know what it is. So in fact it was a TV show. I'm taking Mike's word on that.
Yeah, I think it was on ABC.
It was on a network. Oh my
God. Yeah.
I even look. Sure. Again, all of it seems fake. It all seems unreal. Like, no matter how you slice it, everything Max Headroom seems like a computer joke someone made, like a "You're the Man Now" dog type thing, as opposed to like actual 80s television, which that seems fake. That's my take on that. That the past isn't real. You can quote me on that.
No. I'm currently trying to check, okay, so he was initially introduced in a British telefilm in 1985. The Max Headroom show was a video, music, and talk show from 1985 to 1987. And then the Max Headroom TV series was an American satirical science fiction series based on the British telefilm.
What's a telefilm? That's just two words put together.
That's like a TV movie. That's a fancy British word for TV movie.
Okay, I'll allow it. I'll allow telefilm being a TV movie. Don't love that, but I'll take it. Yeah, it just seems like a headache, and he talked weird. I've seen like clips, and I don't understand. Children of the '80s. I hope they had fun back in the day. So.
Okay, so and like for the TV show, it looks like we basically just refilmed the TV movie, and then we're like, we're making a TV show now.
Yeah.
Remember when ABC made a thing based off of the Geico Cavemen? It feels very much like that. And that neither of them lasted very long, but they lasted longer than you expected them to.
But at least Cavemen, you can make a plot. That's at least like a real concept. The digital robot, the digital computer head is less of a thing than cavemen in the modern day. That's just,
ABC did a lot of weird stuff. It's like at the same time that Twin Peaks was on, that's when they did Cop Rock. And they also had this show that was in conjunction with Nick at Night, Hi Honey, I'm Home. And it was like billed as like the first instant rerun where they would air the new episode on ABC, and then 2 days later they'd air the rerun on Nick at Night. And yeah, it was very experimental.
That just feels like tape delay, honestly. That just seems like co-airing it. Yeah.
And it wasn't a good show. That was the other thing. Like,
sure,
it was like a 50s sitcom taking place in, I'm guessing this was like 1990, 91, something like that.
Twin Peaks, though, good show. Would just recommend on that. That is the thing I will die out as a 100% defend on that. But Cop Rock, sure, I guess you got to make Twin Peaks to make Cop Rock. I got to make Cop Rock to make Twin Peaks. There you go.
Just thinking of both late 80s, early 90s ABC and John Mulaney, Dogs Without Horses, all over the place.
Fantastic.
All right.
The Upper Peninsula.
Yes. Should we repeat the question?
Yes.
Michigan achieved statehood and received what was thought to be the worthless Upper Peninsula region before the discovery of copper and iron deposits as part of a compromise to end a war over a strip of land named after what city?
What is this? I presume the war is between the U.S., Canada, France, and England, and I guess any native people. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to name any city on the Upper Peninsula. I know I've looked into this, and they're not coming to me. The Plains of Abraham was a war. It was a battle in the War of 1812. That was in Canada, and I don't know where. I think it was like Ontario, like Toronto, neck of the woods. I don't think it was the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Oh God, I don't know what this is gonna be. I'm trying to remember names of cities in Michigan that aren't the mitten, and they're more of the top part, the Upper Peninsula. I'm gonna guess Paris for nothing. I'm gonna say Paris is my city here. That's a city with French connection. That could be right. I'm gonna say Paris.
It is not Paris.
We'll always have it. Is the answer a city in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan?
It is not.
Okay, so it is outside. What could this be? I like it. Is it between the U.S., Canada, France, and the United Kingdom? Is it the modern day city, if it still exists, in those 4 locations, or is it outside of that?
The city is in one of those countries that you've listed.
Yes. Those are all the main parties at hand. And not that it narrowed it down. Those 4 locations all have tons of cities that it all could very well be. What year?
Let's just start alphabetically and then.
Oh God, yeah. What was first? Aberdeen in Scotland. Yeah. Well, you give me a year of Michigan's independence, or
Michigan achieved its statehood. I believe it was 1826.
Okay, so So it was in that fun time between 1812 and the Civil War. Back when it was presidents died all the time and things weren't great for the country.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was 1837. Michigan was the 26th
Gotcha.
state. That's where 26 came in.
37. This isn't. I can just start guessing cities, but I don't have a real connection with any of them. This might be some good Great Lakes knowledge that I don't know. Maybe Chicago. Is it Chicago? That's nearby. It would have been on a Great Lake, but I don't have anything more.
It is not Chicago, but sticking to cities on the Great Lakes is a good strategy.
How so? Fun times in Cleveland today. Is it Cleveland?
It is not, but you're getting closer.
Okay, so is it? I mean, Erie's a lake. Is it Erie, Pennsylvania?
No.
No. What is it? But what are the?
But you're on the correct lake.
So it is. Lake Erie is where you would find. So it is. Is it a city in New York? New York's on Erie. I think that's right. Rochester is on Ontario. I think. That's the main New York City on Ontario, Lake Ontario. What are the New York cities? Syracuse? Is that on Lake Erie? I'm gonna guess Syracuse. Oh my god. Upstate New York knowledge. I need to go. I need to visit it and see what's up. I'm looking for a city on Lake Erie. Is it Toronto? Is on Lake Erie?
It's not Toronto.
I think that's the other one. I'm naming cities on Lake Erie and I can't come up with it. Indiana has, I think, a city, but I don't know what any of them are called. I know Cleveland's on it. Erie's right. I don't know what New York City. I think there is a New York City on Erie. If it connects, then I think there is one, but I don't know which one it is, and I haven't found it yet. Let me know, what is it? I'm interested in hearing this.
It is Toledo, Ohio.
Toledo, that's Ohio. I didn't realize Toledo was on the lake. I forgot that. I think I've traveled through Toledo to get, or like on a highway to get to Michigan.
Yep.
But I definitely thought Toledo was inland. I did not think it was on the lake. That is disappointing. So
yeah, well, it's nearish the lake. I mean, Lake Erie's the like taking the Maumee River to get into like the main part of Toledo. But
what's the name of the conflict?
It was the Michigan-Ohio War. Ohio was a state, Michigan was still a territory, and both Michigan and Ohio were laying claim to Toledo because of its shipping potential. And it was a mostly bloodless war. Like, some animals were killed. I think one or two people were actually either injured or killed in the conflict. And to settle the conflict, Ohio got the strip of land that pretty much went from Lake Erie to what is now the Indiana border.
Gotcha.
And that's called the Toledo Strip.
Gotcha.
And to make up for it, they were just like, okay, Michigan, you can become a state and we'll give you the Upper Peninsula. And Michigan's just like, Upper Peninsula, there's nothing there except snow and whatever. And then they found the iron and copper deposits. So history is still judging who won out on that.
Sure. My only Upper Peninsula trivia fact is, do you know what video game is set in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan?
Oh.
No.
This is a very specific thing that,
Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, the Aperture Science Laboratories
it is Portal.
Are in the salt mines of the Upper Peninsula. Apparently it's Portal.
Aperture Science, just division of Michigan Tech.
Yes, apparently all of that is set in Michigan. So it's a very specific fact about the Upper Peninsula. But apparently, in the Cave Johnson history of building Aperture, the salt mines of the Upper Peninsula is apparently where he thought he could put things there. So there you go. That's my Uper trivia that I have, but I don't have the Toledo War. That's good.
Nice. Yeah. No. All right. Last question. John Mulaney hosted Saturday Night Live on February 29th, 2020, the first time anyone hosted a new episode of the show on a leap day. The last leap day to fall on a Saturday was in 1992. The last new episode of SNL before February 29, 1992, was hosted by 2 people, and the first new episode after that date was hosted by 1 person. And all 3 of these hosts were cast members of the same television show. What show did these 3 people share?
Yes. I think that the episode after was by a popular SNL recurring host, John Goodman, and the one before was by then married pair Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr. And they were all members of the title show Roseanne. And that's my guess on Leap Day SNL trivia.
That is very impressive.
Yeah, how did you have that on hand?
How did you pull that?
I actually not too long. I think about like a couple of months ago when I found out that the SNL that he was hosting on February 29th, I looked into who's ever hosted on February 29th. And I discovered that information doing my research because it is a once every 28 years thing. And that it happened. Like I said, it was a weird thing that it was on a Saturday, but for some reason they didn't have an episode on that date. And it was on both sides. And I discovered, I was like, that's right. That's back when people tolerated those people. John Goodman's always good, but Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr at the same time. That was that was like, man, both of them at the same time. That must be fun. And and I remember that. And so that wasn't a just lucky guess. I had read that, and it was, I was excited. I was like, here we go. That's what I want to hear. And so, and then but John Goodman also a good guy, and and Roseanne Barr has only gotten more famous and more successful in the 28 years since that SNL hosting took place. And so there you go.
She's still a name. So
she's still a name, absolutely. Sometimes a current event every now and then when she can pull it off, but no. And so in that, I get the full. I think I will earn 2.5 on all that, which is a very good number to take. So right now we have finished our 30 questions, and there is one more to have. And so the way it works is Laura has written one question for both of us. She has sent it to me via Messenger. I will read it out loud for all of us to play at the same time, and we will see how we do as a collective. All right. This is a long question. All right. Looks to be a music question, so I'm going to be banking on y'all to help me earn the points here. So here we go. Thank you, Laura, for giving us this question. So in 1992, a reporter from the New York Times called some people in the Seattle music scene looking to get the inside scoop on what kind of lingo the kids those days were saying. The informant told the reporter, who was a total lame stain, that wax slacks were what they called ripped jeans, that a dish was a hot guy or girl, and that swinging on the flippity flop meant hanging out. I think I was to say, what a harsh realm bummer for that reporter who was hoaxed by the staff at what record label? And the record label is in bold here. So Ben seems to know the answer to this question.
That would be Sub Pop Records.
That is a name that means nothing to me. Mike, do you concur on Ben's answer here?
I fully defer to Mr. Smith. So.
On Sub Pop.
Yeah, Records? Sub Pop. SUBPOP. Sub Pop Records, home to in the early 90s Nirvana. More recently, they have also had groups like the Dum Dum Girls, various other, like they are a good, they now have, I think, a higher profile as an indie than they did. Like back then they were very indie.
Ben, the correct answer is Sub Pop Records. That is exactly right. This is an interesting detail. At the time, the receptionist quoted in the article was working at Caroline Records, but she had formerly worked at Sub Pop with Jonathan Poonman co-founder of Sub Pop, who was the person the reporter originally contacted. Most people will consider the Sub Pop staff to be responsible for the hoax, which was revealed a few weeks later in The Baffler. That is exactly right, and you definitely earn your 1 point right there. I will take no credit from that.
I'm pretty sure that I learned that, Mike, when we did our first Geek Bowl in Seattle. The Seattle airport now has a Sub Pop record store, and I think that they have a thing there just in the airport store.
Oh, very good.
About here's our fake slang thing that we did.
That is you were all over that. That is extreme. You were extremely right and had all the details right on that. And so to end today's game, Team Eurowhat earned 10 points altogether, including that one on the very end there. And Team Chris earned 10 points as well. A very well-written set all the way around. It was a fantastic set of questions. And hopefully you enjoyed at home playing along and seeing how all of us did. Hopefully you got more than us. That is, congratulations if you did. And hopefully you enjoy the questions along the way. But thank you all so much. A fun night for all. Hopefully you'll be back with episode, was it 6, 7? We're still in the single digits right now, but thank you all for tuning in, and hope we'll see you again very soon. Stay inside and stay safe. Hope to see you again very soon. Thank you all so much.